4081. 4081. Chapter 4081. First transcend power, then transcend self. Just as Lin Moyu was about to speak, the Lord of Fate's expression shifted slightly. Another chaotic life form is coming in. Lin Moyu immediately fell silent and concealed his aura. The two of them, hidden in the darkness, became as if non-existent, quietly observing. The intervals between chaotic lifeforms entering were irregular. Sometimes several would arrive in succession, other times there would be a gap of a year or two. According to the Lord of Fate's observations, there was no discernible pattern. This time, the chaotic lifeform was another giant bird, but this one had 2 wings and 3 heads, different from the previous one. It seemed even stronger, bringing with it a vast amount of chaotic energy. The bird didn't screech, instead, its sharp gaze scanned the surroundings, as if searching for something. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. He saw intelligence in the bird's eyes. This one was sentient. Its blade-like gaze swept over where Lin Moyu and the Lord of Fate were hiding, and there was a peculiar power in its eyes that stirred a fighting impulse deep in Lin Moyu's soul. At that moment, the Lord of Fate shook his head, signaling Lin Moyu not to act. Lin Moyu snapped out of it. Just a look from the bird could shake his Tao heart, which was truly frightening. After only half a minute, a formation appeared and the world's power began to drive the bird out. The giant bird clearly didn't want to leave and resisted the formation, unleashing terrifying power from its 3 mouths, spewing torrents of chaotic energy. This energy turned into wind, rain, thunder, and lightning, but under the suppression of the world's power, it only affected a range of less than 100 meters. In the end, the bird was still expelled, leaving behind only chaotic energy, which the world transformed into great Tao origin energy. The Lord of Fate breathed a sigh of relief. This one has come many times, seems very interested in this world. Lin Moyu asked, "Are they all birds?" The Lord of Fate replied, "Almost always, though occasionally there are other lifeforms." Lin Moyu mused to himself, "It really does seem like our world is in a bird's nest." The Lord of Fate continued, "If you have any thoughts, Lin Taoist, please share them." Lin Moyu spoke, "I don't know exactly what your final step is, senior, but I do have some thoughts about the final step. I believe that for anyone, the last step is to transcend oneself, transcend the Tao, transcend power. When the world first formed, before the Taos opened, everything originated from chaotic energy, which became great Tao origin energy, and then evolved into the myriad Taos. So to transcend, one must step above this process, perhaps even go against the Taos themselves and comprehend the origin energy of the Taos. There are countless ways to comprehend great Tao origin energy. Rather than just observing how origin energy transforms into Taos, why not study how to reverse the process, how to turn Tao power back into origin energy? Chaotic energy is too difficult for now, it's better to focus on the relationship between the myriad Taos and origin energy. As Lin Moyu spoke, the Lord of Fate's eyes lit up, as if he had grasped a key point. He fell into deep thought. Lin Moyu's words were simple yet profound. Instead of starting from the Taos or the self, he suggested starting from the level of power itself. First comprehend great Tao origin energy, use that to transcend the Taos, and only then seek to transcend the self. After a moment, the Lord of Fate let out a long sigh. Hearing your words, I realize I truly have wasted all these years. Lin Moyu smiled. These are just my thoughts. If they help you, I'm glad. But the details are up to you, I can't do much more. The Lord of Fate shook his head. No, you've helped me tremendously, pointed out a path. That's more valuable than anything. If I succeed, I'll take you as my teacher, this debt is beyond repaying. With that, the Lord of Fate took out an object and handed it to Lin Moyu, a strange egg filled with chaotic energy. Lin Moyu was surprised. Is this a chaotic lifeform's egg? The Lord of Fate nodded. Yes, about 7 million years ago, a chaotic lifeform came here. When it was expelled, it resisted fiercely, but in the end, it still left. After it left behind this egg. There's a chaotic lifeform inside, but in this world, it can never hatch. If you ever enter chaos, perhaps it can be born. You should bind it, it may be useful in the future. As the Lord of Fate said, without chaotic energy, the egg couldn't hatch in this world. But Lin Moyu's great thousand world did have chaotic energy, so he could hatch it. Perhaps he was the only one in the world with that ability. He already had a little python pung from chaos, and now he had an egg as well. Even before attaining eternity, he was already entangled with chaotic lifeform's fate, perhaps. Lin Moyu accepted the gift without fuss. In that case, I won't stand on ceremony. He put the egg into the chaotic region of his great thousand world. As soon as it entered, the egg began absorbing chaotic energy like a starving child devouring food. At this rate, he really might gain another chaotic life form. The Lord of Fate was in high spirits. No need to be polite. I really have nothing else to give that's worthy of your guidance. If the Lord of Fate succeeded, Lin Moyu's favor would be immense and hard to repay. Lin Moyu replied, no need to be so formal, senior. I may need your help in the future. The Lord of Fate readily agreed, promising to do his utmost. He then asked why Lin Moyu had come here. Lin Moyu explained about the events in Burial Dao Valley and his quest to find the Spirit Demon Emperor. Hearing this, the Lord of Fate handed Lin Moyu a bronze token. Keep this token. I once dealt with a Spirit Demon Emperor who owes me a favor. This may help you. In the Spirit Demon's territory, you'll need to be cautious, they're not easy to deal with. Lin Moyu nodded and put away the token. The two chatted for several more days, almost like a mini Dao debate, before Lin Moyu finally took his leave. The Lord of Fate began cultivating anew, trying to comprehend the reversal of the Daos and how Dao power transforms back into origin energy, to achieve transcendence at the level of power. It was difficult, but at least now there was a clear path. Lin Moyu set off on the second half of his journey. The land of severed Daos no longer seemed daunting. With his experience, he traveled faster and, after about another month, finally saw light. The exit had arrived. As he approached, a strange aura washed over him. It wasn't a cultivator's aura, but contained a unique Dao force, not from any of the myriad Daos, but seemingly belonging solely to the spirit demons. To possess a unique Dao, just what are these spirit demons? Lin Moyu wondered as he stepped out of the passage and officially entered the spirit demon's domain. He heard faint sounds, bugs crawling through the grass, and saw a lush, endless forest and grassland, dotted with small hills. In the distance, spirit demons floated in the air, apparently patrolling. Suddenly, a sharp cry rang out, and countless spirit demons burst from the grassland and forest, surrounding Lin Moyu. 4082. 4082. Chapter 4082. Are the spirit demons related to the human race? Lin Moyu looked at the spirit demons of heaven and earth, an odd expression appearing on his face. The spirit demons were generally about 1 meter tall and looked remarkably similar to elemental liches, almost like enlarged versions of them. Lin Moyu compared them in his mind. If you shrank these spirit demons down, they'd be identical to elemental liches. Moreover, the Dao here was very strange. In the land of severed Daos, Lin Moyu sensed that there was a Dao here monopolized by the spirit demons, not belonging to the origin ancestral land. Its nature was somewhat similar to the physical Dao he'd discovered before, but unlike the pure physical Dao, this one was extremely complex. From the spirit demon's Dao, Lin Moyu sensed a variety of forces, as if it encompassed countless Daos in one. This kind of fusion of various Dao powers into a single entity wasn't something Lin Moyu was seeing for the first time. Over 1,000 spirit demons surrounded Lin Moyu from all directions. They didn't speak, but Lin Moyu saw intelligence in their eyes. They seemed sentient, but simply didn't talk. The spirit demons made no move to attack, just surrounded him. Some looked at Lin Moyu with curiosity, as if he were some rare creature. Since they didn't act, Lin Moyu didn't either. In the distance, he heard the voices of other spirit demons, clearly reporting back. He decided to just wait. Soon, the spirit demons parted to make way for a taller spirit demon who flew over. As he passed, the others saluted him, a gesture strikingly similar to human etiquette. Most ordinary spirit demons were at the Dao Venerable level, with a few at the Great Dao level. This tall spirit demon, however, had reached the Dao Lord level. The tall spirit demon hovered in the air, looking down at Lin Moyu, and spoke slowly, "Cultivator, why have you come here?" Finally, someone who could speak. Lin Moyu rose to meet him at eye level and replied, "I am Lin Moyu, here to see the Spirit Demon Emperor." Even in the Spirit Demon's territory, as a great Dao Lord, Lin Moyu maintained his composure. The tall Spirit Demon asked in a low voice, "Why do you seek our Emperor?" Lin Moyu replied, "I must speak with the Spirit Demon Emperor in person." The tall Spirit Demon frowned, clearly displeased. "The Emperor is busy. You should leave." He didn't even ask what the matter was, just tried to send Lin Moyu away. Spirit demons really weren't easy to deal with. Lin Moyu took out the token given to him by the Lord of Fate. "Take me to the Spirit Demon Emperor." The other party wasn't being polite, so Lin Moyu didn't bother either and spoke more directly. If this didn't work, he'd just force his way in. As soon as the token appeared, the surrounding spirit demons all retreated and saluted the token. Though they said nothing, their actions made it clear they recognized it. The token wasn't special in itself, but it contained the aura of the spirit demon emperor, which instinctively commanded their respect. The tall spirit demon also studied the token, and after several moments said, "Follow me." He led the way, flying deeper into spirit demon territory, silent the whole way, clearly not fond of outsiders. The spirit demon's territory was idyllic, like a paradise rarely seen in any world. There were rivers, but instead of water, they flowed with Tao power. This unique spirit demon Tao was a fusion of many forces, each river containing its own attributes, much like the independent Taos in the origin ancestral land. Many spirit demons lived by these rivers, their auras perfectly in tune with the Tao power flowing through them. The rivers of Tao power surged into the distance, eventually merging together without conflict. This is another origin ancestral land, Lin Moyu thought. Compared to the origin ancestral land, only the form of the Taos was different, the essence was the same. He realized his earlier assumption was wrong. The spirit demons didn't possess just one Tao, but nearly all Taos. There were countless spirit demons. Lin Moyu saw at least tens of millions. More importantly, their strength was astonishing. The weakest were Tao venerables, and he saw none below that level. Great Tao level spirit demons were everywhere, and there were quite a few at the Tao Lord level. As they passed, spirit demons looked up curiously not at Lin Moyu, but at the token he held, which bore the Emperor's aura. After about half an hour of flying covering tens of millions of li at their speed, they still hadn't reached the edge of the territory. The spirit demon's domain was enormous. Finally, they arrived at a giant stone stele. Lin Moyu instinctively thought of the myriad wonders stele. This stele was very similar, but the inscriptions were different. The myriad wonders stele contained countless secret arts, activated by soul power, but this stele was inscribed with a formation. Lin Moyu immediately recognized it as a teleportation array. The tall spirit demon activated the formation. "Go in." As he spoke, he stepped into the array, and Lin Moyu followed. The formation activated, and 2 seconds later, they appeared before another stone stele. As Lin Moyu's vision cleared, he saw a palace. Looking at the palace, Lin Moyu felt a strange sense of familiarity, not that he'd been here before, but the style of the palace seemed familiar, as if he'd seen it somewhere else. Why does a spirit demon palace feel so much like something from the human race? He wondered. Are spirit demons related to humans? The palace was decorated with carvings that, at a glance, resembled mythical beasts from human legends, dragons, phoenixes, and others, all with human cultural elements. The tall spirit demon respectfully saluted before the palace. "Emperor, a human cultivator seeks audience with the Emperor's token." A powerful aura surged from the palace, its pressure filling the world and making even Lin Moyu feel a hint of strain. The spirit demon emperor was truly formidable, already beyond eternity, though seemingly not yet having taken that final step. He was in a unique state. A phantom face appeared in the sky, exuding immense pressure and speaking, "Let him in." "Yes," the tall spirit demon replied immediately. With a rumble, the palace doors opened. The tall spirit demon said, "Go in yourself. The emperor is inside." Lin Moyu nodded and entered. Inside was a wide corridor leading to the depths, shrouded in mist so thick he couldn't see ahead. Without hesitation, he walked down the corridor. On either side were many decorations, and the more Lin Moyu looked, the more puzzled he became. These ornaments also had human elements. The cultural differences between races were usually vast, with almost no overlap, yet the spirit demon's decorations were full of human motifs. This couldn't be a coincidence. Passing through the dense mist, Lin Moyu saw a modest little house. In front of it sat a spirit demon, and Lin Moyu caught the strong scent of tea. 4083. 4083. Chapter 4083, The Sword Emperor. Spirit demons drink tea too. That was Lin Moyu's first reaction, finding the scene somewhat odd. The spirit demon emperor's small house also seemed strange. It looked exactly like a human dwelling. Lin Moyu instinctively felt that spirit demons and the human race must be connected in some way. The spirit demon emperor glanced at Lin Moyu. "Human Taoist, don't be surprised. There is indeed some connection between us and the human race." So there was a connection. This should make things easier to discuss. But before Lin Moyu could be pleased, the spirit demon emperor added, "But the connection is not with the current human race, so don't think you can use that to build a relationship." He'd said both the positive and the negative typical. But since this was the Spirit Demon Emperor's domain, Lin Moyu didn't argue, and it wasn't a big deal anyway. Lin Moyu said, Junior Lin Moyu greets Senior. May I ask how to address you? Jin Emperor. The Spirit Demon Emperor gave his name and gestured, you've come from afar, come have some tea. My Dao tea isn't bad. Lin Moyu didn't stand on ceremony, walked over, and took a sip. It is indeed good tea, though different from human tea. Jin Emperor chuckled, our Spirit Demon clan doesn't usually interact with cultivators. For you to risk crossing the land of severed Daos, you must have something important. Lin Moyu nodded, it's about the events at Burial Dao Valley years ago. Jin Emperor's expression changed slightly, his tone turning cold. Are you here to settle old scores? Lin Moyu shook his head. That's all in the past, the debt is settled. But some things remain unresolved. May I ask which Spirit Demon Emperor was present at Burial Dao Valley back then? Jin Emperor replied, that was the Sword Emperor. Lin Moyu asked, could you summon the Sword Emperor? With the party involved present, it would be easier to speak openly. Jin Emperor thought for a moment, then agreed. I'll contact him and see if he's available. He immediately reached out, but whether the Sword Emperor would come was uncertain. Lin Moyu asked curiously, how many emperors does your clan have? Jin Emperor replied, it's not easy for us to produce emperors. Over all these years, there have only been 4. 4 was already a lot. With the Spirit Demon Emperor's power, 4 could rival 8 Beast Emperors. No wonder they could hold back the Dao wild beasts. Compared to the Spirit Demons, cultivators had more Eternals, but not much more strength. At the Dao Lord level, the Beast Kings among the Dao wild beasts vastly outnumbered both Spirit Demons and cultivators. Thus, the two sides, though not allied, had developed a tacit understanding. The Spirit Demons held back some Beast Kings, cultivators held back others, and the rest could focus on the Beast Kings. This balance had lasted for years. Lin Moyu asked, there are 9 Beast Emperors, correct? Jin Emperor replied, yes, only 9. They tried to create more, but all attempts failed. Lin Moyu said, it's fortunate there are only 9 anymore and the fight would be impossible. Jin Emperor corrected him, it would only be impossible for you cultivators. We could stay out of it entirely, Buddha, he trailed off and didn't finish. Lin Moyu didn't press. Jin Emperor wouldn't answer anyway, and it likely involved secrets. From the Burial Dao Valley incident, it was clear the Spirit Demons didn't care about cultivators, lives or even the world's survival. What they cared about was the monster under the filth pool, which threatened them. They would rather see the world destroyed than let that monster live. This suggested that even if the world was destroyed, the Spirit Demons would survive. Seeing their unique Dao, Lin Moyu guessed that the Spirit Demons were merely attached to this world. After a while, the Sword Emperor flew in through the mist. True to his name, he radiated sharp sword intent, and seeing him, Lin Moyu felt as if he were looking at a giant sword Dao Spirit Demon. The Sword Emperor glanced at Lin Moyu. Human cultivator, why are you here? Jin Emperor explained, this Taoist Lin says the matter at Burial Dao Valley isn't over. The Sword Emperor narrowed his eyes. What, here to settle scores? Lin Moyu shook his head. Not to settle scores. He tapped his finger, projecting an image in the air what he had seen in Burial Dao Valley. The earth split, revealing the specially modified filth pool. The Sword Emperor said, yes, I personally sealed it back then. I also personally killed the creature inside. Lin Moyu said nothing as the image changed, showing his soul entering the pool through the seal. The Sword Emperor's brow furrowed. You went in. Jin Emperor also noticed something was wrong. How had Lin Moyu entered the pool the Sword Emperor had sealed? Jin Emperor wondered, did the seal fail over time? Sword Emperor replied, impossible. My seal is eternal. The image showed the monster Lin Moyu had seen. Sword energy shot skyward, a Dao appeared in the sky, and sword cries rang out. The Sword Emperor's voice was incredulous. Impossible, I clearly destroyed it back then. Jin Emperor's expression grew serious. Sword Emperor, calm down and listen to Taoist Lin. Lin Moyu said, I believe you did kill it, but perhaps it had some unknown means of survival and began to regrow in the pool. The Sword Emperor interrupted, impossible. I sealed the pool and cut off its power source. Even if it survived, it couldn't regrow. Lin Moyu shook his head. From what I observed, the seal wasn't complete. Over time, underground filth rivers broke through the seal, restoring some power to the pool. Jin Emperor said quietly, Sword Emperor, your seal may be eternal, but over the ages, small flaws can appear. If Taoist Lin's soul could enter, then surely the world's power could as well. Lin Moyu smiled inwardly. His entry was through a back door left by Zhang Junzi. But Jin Emperor was right, if he could enter, so could the world's power. Perhaps that's how the pool regained some strength, though not enough for rapid growth. Of course, Lin Moyu didn't mention Zhang Junzi's back door. He let them guess. In the image, the monster suddenly looked at Lin Moyu, whose soul was instantly destroyed, and the image froze on the monster's gaze. Lin Moyu continued, from my observations, the creature has developed intelligence and learned to hide. I estimate it will remain hidden until it is fully reborn. It was only by chance that I discovered this. 4084. Chapter 4084. Tun Yuan, Devourer of Origins. There is always a sliver of hope in heaven and earth, nothing is ever truly perfect. Only by transcending heaven and earth might one achieve true perfection. The Sword Emperor had personally slain that monster and sealed the filth pool, seemingly cutting off all possibility. Yet, with the passage of time, flaws still appeared. At his level, the Sword Emperor could easily understand this if he thought about it. Gradually calming down, the Sword Emperor withdrew his aura. He didn't admit it outright, but he knew the fault lay on his side. Back then, none of the great Dao Lords survived, and only the Spirit Demon Emperors knew the secret of Burial Dao Valley. Yet, in all these years, he had never once gone back to check. Of course, it wasn't easy to return, but given his strength, he could have managed. Had he checked a few times, perhaps this situation would not have arisen. The Sword Emperor said, we need to find a way back. I'll kill it again myself. The Jin Emperor replied quietly, we definitely need to go back. The key is how. The beast side won't be easy to deal with. It looks like we're in for another great battle. The Sword Emperor said, tell them the monster is about to be reborn. Just like last time, we'll cooperate again. The Jin Emperor rejected this. No, last time, we tricked them, and even managed to kill a beast emperor. This time, they won't fall for it again. Back then, there were only 7 beast emperors, now there are 9. With the power imbalance, if we approach them, we may not get out alive. So their so-called cooperation was actually the spirit demon emperors deceiving the beast emperors, resulting in the death of a beast emperor, a huge loss for them. The Sword Emperor slapped his thigh. What a mess. So what do you suggest? If it comes to it, let's just withdraw and leave this world to its fate. The Jin Emperor snorted, don't say such things lightly. The Sword Emperor glanced at Lin Moyu and said no more. But Lin Moyu's heart was stirred. The Sword Emperor's offhand complaint revealed something crucial. They really could leave this world, but for some reason, they had to stay. Without the spirit demons, cultivators alone could never hold back the Dao wild beasts. But because of the Burial Dao Valley filth pool, the spirit demons might have to withdraw. Lin Moyu said, actually, I have a way to reach Burial Dao Valley. The Jin Emperor's eyes lit up. You mean through the land of severed Daos? The Sword Emperor cried out, that cursed place. I'd rather fight through the great wilderness. The Jin Emperor retorted, think, Lin Daoist came here through the land of severed Daos. Lin Moyu followed up, that's right, I can traverse the land of severed Daos. The Jin Emperor asked, how confident are you? Lin Moyu was not modest at all. Absolutely confident. With undead servants scouting ahead, he could stroll through the land of severed Daos as if it were his own backyard. In truth, the land of severed Daos wasn't particularly dangerous, the rifts were visible, and as long as one didn't recklessly charge forward, they could be avoided. The only real danger was the shifting edge. One could suddenly step into the great wilderness or, like the Lord of Power, be teleported into a filth pool. Otherwise, the main issue was that Eternals, unable to sense the Daos or use their power, felt deeply unsafe, which was why they avoided the place. The Sword Emperor said bluntly, if you're that confident, let's go through the land of severed Daos. Worst case, we get teleported into the great wilderness and I'll just fight my way out. Back then, I could take on 3 of them and kill a beast emperor, I can do it again. The Jin Emperor snapped, don't boast. You know the beast emperor's traits. There were only 7 back then, now there are 9, and each one is twice as strong as before. If you can take on 2 at once, you're doing well. The Sword Emperor didn't argue clearly, the Jin Emperor was right. Lin Moyu interjected, seniors, could you tell me more about the beast emperors and the monster beneath the filth pool? Taking the opportunity, Lin Moyu voiced his doubts. He knew too little about the beast emperors, and even less about the monster beneath Burial Dao Valley. Any information would be invaluable. He thought deeply. As long as the spirit demons were present, cultivators and Tao wild beasts could maintain a balance. But what if the spirit demons left or stopped restraining the Tao wild beasts? What would cultivators do then? Lin Moyu didn't want to rely on any power that wasn't his own. That was the same thinking that led the 620 great Tao lords at Burial Tao Valley to conduct their experiment, though the result had been disastrous. The Jin Emperor thought for a moment, then coughed lightly. You all know the Beast Emperors, they're evolved from Emperor pools. There are 9 Emperor pools, so at most there can be 9 Beast Emperors. They have a unique trait. The more Beast Emperors exist at once, the stronger each one becomes. Now there are 9, and each is much stronger than before. The Sword Emperor could once take on 3, now, at best, he could handle 2, and killing one is almost impossible. As for the monster in the Burial Tao Valley Filth Pool, its name is Tun Yuan, Devourer of Origins. It is a recombination of Tao impurities and great Tao origin energy, possessing chaotic properties, making it extremely hard to kill. If it matures, its power will surpass the Beast Emperors. It will devour all the Beast Emperors and reach a new level. To reach greater heights and gain more power, it will devour all of us, including you Eternals. It won't spare anyone. When that happens, it will continue to devour the world's vital energy and destroy everything. When speaking of Tun Yuan, the Jin Emperor's voice carried a fear that made Lin Moyu wonder. There's never been a Tun Yuan in this world. How do you know so much, Senior? The Jin Emperor looked at Lin Moyu and finally said quietly, because I've seen it. Don't ask more, I can't tell you. In any case, that thing must never be allowed to be born. If it is, this world is finished. There's no time to lose. Take the Sword Emperor through the land of severed Taos to Burial Tao Valley and destroy that thing. Lin Moyu asked, if Tun Yuan will devour the Beast Emperors first, why not tell them and get them to help? The Jin Emperor countered, what is the purpose of the Tao wild beasts? Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. The Tao wild beasts exist to devour the Taos and destroy the world. The Jin Emperor said, if the Tao wild beasts knew, not only would they not stop Tun Yuan's birth, they'd help it, and even stop us from interfering. To destroy the world, the Beast Emperors would do anything, including dying themselves. We fooled them once, it won't work a second time. So this time, they must not know. 4085. Chapter 4085. The Great Venerable. Lin Moyu had spent less than a day in the spirit demon territory before returning to the land of severed Taos, retracing his steps. Jin Emperor was extremely worried about Tun Yuan's situation and urged the Sword Emperor to set out immediately. Lin Moyu could see that while the Sword Emperor excelled at combat, it was Jin Emperor who made the decisions. There were 4 spirit demon emperors in total, but for their own safety and to avoid drawing the attention of the Beast Emperors, only the Sword Emperor and 2 others could act. Lin Moyu reflected on Jin Emperor's earlier words. He realized that if not for his ability to traverse the land of severed Taos, Jin Emperor wouldn't have revealed so much. It was only because they needed his help that they shared some information, but certainly not everything, nothing touching the true core. He continued to send undead servants ahead to scout, ensuring his path was safe. The Sword Emperor watched and commented, these puppets of yours are impressive, strong in battle and good for scouting. But you'll lose a lot of them. Aren't they hard to replace? Lin Moyu replied, it can't be helped, even if it pains me. The Sword Emperor said, as far as I know, no cultivator today has mastered puppetry to this level. Where did you get these puppets? Lin Moyu thought for a moment. I got them by accident. The Sword Emperor snorted, if you don't want to say, forget it. Clearly dissatisfied, but he didn't press further. Suddenly, Lin Moyu asked, Sword Emperor, did you and your people come to this world just to help us? The Sword Emperor replied, of course not. We're here on assignment. His expression changed slightly. Kid, are you trying to get something out of me? Lin Moyu smiled. Not at all, I'm just curious. Jin Emperor didn't spell it out, but I've guessed you're not from this world. As for why, there are only a few possibilities. The Sword Emperor said, if you like guessing, go ahead. I won't tell you, and you'll never know if you're right. Lin Moyu continued, you and the spirit demons came to this world under orders. This world is flawed, which led to the existence of Tao wild beasts. Without your restraint, the world would have been destroyed long ago. Your task is to ensure the world isn't destroyed. You could leave, but you'd be punished, and it wouldn't be light. If Tun Yuan emerges, your mission fails. The one who gave you this task must be human, and if I'm right, he's a powerful transcendent one of the very top. He likes to wear a blue robe." As he spoke, Lin Moyu watched the Sword Emperor's expression. The Sword Emperor wasn't good at hiding his feelings, especially in the land of severed Daos, where Dao power was suppressed and his expressions were even clearer. With every sentence, Lin Moyu could tell if he was right or wrong. Most of his guesses were correct, especially when he mentioned the blue robe. A clear light flashed in the Sword Emperor's eyes, confirming everything. So it really is him. He's been watching this world for ages. But why? He can't be doing this just to look after the world, there must be another reason. Lin Moyu felt deeply that the blue-robed elder's motives were not simple. Someone like that wouldn't do anything without a deeper purpose. Every move must have layers of meaning. He'd been planning for billions of years, from the world's birth until now, just to reap the rewards. Was time truly meaningless to him? Why spend so long on a single scheme? Or was this just one of many, with countless worlds and countless plans? Lin Moyu thought about all this in an instant, depths others could not fathom. The Sword Emperor noticed Lin Moyu's silence and asked, "What are you thinking?" Lin Moyu replied, "I'm thinking about what the blue-robed old man really wants." The Sword Emperor's face changed and he blurted out, "The Great Venerable, Heya." He realized he'd said too much and immediately shut up, glaring at Lin Moyu. "If you keep fishing for information, I won't be polite." Lin Moyu shook his head. "You wouldn't dare." The Sword Emperor's expression shifted. "You're just a great Dao Lord. Why wouldn't I dare kill you?" Lin Moyu said nothing, but silently took out a treasure. Cold air spread around them, even the land of severed Daos couldn't suppress its power. The Sword Emperor's face changed dramatically. "Impossible, how do you have that?" Lin Moyu said, "You should recognize it." The Sword Emperor was visibly shaken. "That's the Great Venerable's meditation mat. I've seen it before. Why do you have it?" Lin Moyu replied, "Sword Emperor, do you dare touch me?" The Sword Emperor's expression was complicated. After a long pause, he said, "Fine, I'll let you off." He had to save face. Even if he didn't dare touch Lin Moyu, he couldn't admit it. At this moment, Lin Moyu felt clarity. He understood that the blue-robed elder's shadow lay behind many things in this world. The elder had set up countless plans, and Lin Moyu himself was at the center of one. Otherwise, in such a vast universe, with countless worlds and even more in the Sea of Realms, why would he be found in this tiny world? Random chance? That was too unlikely. He must have been chosen from the start. Perhaps even his transmigration was orchestrated by the blue-robed elder. The Sword Emperor called him Great Venerable. So Lin Moyu's goal was clear: become a transcendent, a great venerable like the blue-robed elder, or even surpass him, and finally interrogate him about his true motives. The return journey was much faster. In less than a month they reached the Ungduan Mountains. Lin Moyu contacted an Yuyan, who quickly arrived. When she saw the Sword Emperor, she was visibly shocked. She hadn't expected Lin Moyu to not only traverse the land of severed Daos, but also bring the Sword Emperor back. It was her first time meeting the Sword Emperor. After a brief exchange, they immediately set off for Burial Dao Valley. The Sword Emperor summoned a giant sword, and the group rode it toward Burial Dao Valley at top speed. Their only goal: to slay Tun Yuan in the filth pool as quickly as possible. The longer they waited, the greater the danger. 4086. 4086. Chapter 4086. Sword Emperor battles Tun Yuan. The three of them sped like lightning, crossing the plains and passing through the vast expanse of the 10 million origin mountains, heading straight for Burial Dao Valley. And Yuyan was shrouded in the great Tao of cause and effect, its power radiating outward, ensuring that their arrival went unnoticed by anyone. The events at Burial Dao Valley were not meant for too many to know. The more great Tao lords who knew, the worse it could be. Burial Dao Valley was silent and deserted. Ordinarily, no one would come here. With a sword cry, an invisible giant sword descended from the sky, enveloping the entire Burial Dao Valley. The Sword Emperor sealed off the valley to prevent Tun Yuan from escaping. The great Dao flowers in the valley still swayed gently as Lin Moyu drew divine runes, unlocking Zan Junzi's formation. There were two layers of seals here. The first was the formation laid by Zan Junzi, and the second was the seal placed by the Sword Emperor. Complex and profound divine runes took shape in Lin Moyu's hands, slowly descending from the air. The great Dao flowers bloomed with brilliant light, and the Burial Dao Valley's formation activated again, revealing a massive rift. A special filth pool appeared before the three of them. The Lord of Cause and Effect looked at the pool. So this is the pool from back then. Is it really that formidable? She had been held up at the Ungduan Mountains back then and had only heard of the Burial Dao Valley's events, never witnessed them herself. Although the Sword Emperor was proud, he was still courteous to an eternal like in Yuan, and explained in a low voice, filth pools are usually divided into 3 types, ordinary pools, lord-level pools, and emperor-level pools. But this pool is a special exception. It's a half-ruined pool, the only one of its kind in the world. A half-ruined pool won't produce Dao wild beasts, but it still absorbs Dao impurities. It doesn't produce beasts, only accumulates more and more Dao impurities. When the Dao impurities reach a certain quantity, a qualitative change occurs, and a kind of essence is born from the filth. If that were all, it wouldn't matter, but by chance, members of our spirit demon clan were thrown into it. Our clan has the ability to fuse Daos. We returned the filth essence to its origin, transforming it into great Dao origin energy. This origin energy was not produced by the world but by us, so it was incompatible with the world. That origin energy then fused again with the Dao impurities, eventually giving rise to Tun Yuan. The Sword Emperor quickly described the cause and effect of Tun Yuan's birth, not caring whether Lin Moyu and Yuan fully understood. And Yuan followed up, because Tun Yuan's fundamental power doesn't come from this world, it's incompatible and thus will try to destroy the world. The Sword Emperor replied, that's about right. Lin Moyu added, Tun Yuan possesses both spirit demon and Dao wild beast traits, so when it devours the world, it will be more interested in the spirit demon clan. If it has to choose, it will devour the spirit demons first. After devouring the spirit demons, it will grow even stronger. If I'm not mistaken, your clan has encountered Tun Yuan before. The Sword Emperor's expression grew complicated. He didn't answer, but his look said enough. The formation was fully activated. The Sword Emperor pointed with 2 fingers, open. A great Dao appeared on his body, transforming into a sword, emitting a resonant sword cry. The entire Burial Dao Valley trembled, and countless sharp swords appeared in the seal above the filth pool. This seal, woven from the Sword Emperor's Dao, was filled with sword energy. Now, as the Sword Emperor opened the seal, the Dao transformed into a torrent of swords, rising like a sword tornado to the heavens. As the swords flew away, the seal on the pool's surface grew weaker and weaker. The Sword Emperor shouted again, open. Whoosh. The special water in the filth pool parted to both sides, then shot upward like columns. 2 water columns, one of special great Dao origin energy, the other of Dao impurities, stood clearly apart. These 2 different powers could somehow cooperate to produce the terrifying Tun Yuan. The wonders of the world are sometimes beyond imagination. With the pool drained, the bottom was fully revealed. And Yuan narrowed her eyes. There's something there. She saw something at the bottom, not human, not beast, with a pair of huge wings wrapped around itself. The Sword Emperor's voice was cold. So you really didn't die? Without another word, he pointed, and countless sharp swords rained down like a storm, enveloping Tun Yuan. Clashing sounds rang out as the swords struck Tun Yuan's wings, but were completely blocked, unable to harm it. The Sword Emperor's expression grew grave. Much stronger than last time. He changed his hand seals, forming complex mudras, and shouted, slash. A giant sword fell from the sky, carrying boundless might toward Tun Yuan. Even before the sword landed, Burial Dao Valley began to crack under the pressure, and the surrounding origin mountains started to collapse. Lin Moyu and Yuan's faces changed, and they both retreated. The Sword Emperor's attack was so strong that even the aftershocks were dangerous. A shrill scream sounded as Tun Yuan's wings snapped open, plunging the world into darkness. Its wings blotted out the sky, as if they could cover the entire world. With a flap, its feathers shot out, forming swords that clashed head-on with the Sword Emperor's attack. The collision of the 2 swords resounded through the heavens, shaking 1,000,000 miles around, shattering the earth and collapsing mountains. Their power far surpassed that of ordinary great Dao lords. Ordinary cultivators couldn't even withstand the aftershocks. The 2 sword forces cancelled each other out, evenly matched. Amid shrieks, Tun Yuan soared into the air, charging at the Sword Emperor, eyes filled with murderous intent and a hint of greed. He wanted to devour the Sword Emperor. The Sword Emperor's face grew even more serious. A sword to open the heavens. With a low roar, an even more terrifying sword appeared. Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat. This sword was just like his own elder sister's. This sword seemed truly able to open the heavens, its intent covering all directions. Tun Yuan had no way to dodge and could only take it head-on. Tun Yuan screamed, and in the void appeared a giant beast, resembling a Dao wild beast, but with many spirit demons standing on its back. Back then, many spirit demons had been thrown into the filth pool by the great Dao lords. No one knew where they had found so many. According to the Sword Emperor, some of their people had entered the land of severed Daos and come to the outer battlefield through rifts. But such people were rare. The great Dao lords had spent many years finding just a few. The giant beast in the void charged at the sword light, while the spirit demon phantoms on its back unleashed various Daos to clash with the Sword Emperor. The heaven-opening sword was unstoppable, shattering the phantoms conjured by Tun Yuan. Finally, Tun Yuan wrapped itself in its wings to endure the blow. With a miserable scream, Tun Yuan was knocked from the sky, crashing to the bottom of the pool. The heaven-opening sword pressed down, shattering Tun Yuan's wings and covering its body in wounds. Tun Yuan screamed in the sword light, its broken wings still trembling. Then it erupted with power, opened its mouth, and sucked in pool water swept up by the Sword Emperor's attack crashed down, instantly refilling the pool. Tun Yuan greedily absorbed both powers in the pool, and its wounds healed rapidly. In just 2 seconds, Tun Yuan burst from the pool and attacked the Sword Emperor again. Their fierce battle had only just begun. It really is hard to kill. Lin Moyu sighed inwardly. A fruit appeared in Yuyan's palm. She called out, "Plant the fruit." 4087. 4087. Chapter 4087. Tun Yuan's Wings. The Sword Emperor and Tun Yuan were locked in a fierce battle. From the Sword Emperor's expression, it was clear the fight was anything but easy. He seemed to have the upper hand, but killing Tun Yuan was no simple task. After years of dormancy, Tun Yuan had grown far stronger than before. In her palm, Yuyan condensed the power of cause and effect, planting a death fruit on Tun Yuan. The fruit ripened rapidly, but then a surge of death energy erupted from it, causing it to rot instantly. Yuyan coughed up blood, her soul wounded. Lin Moyu didn't fully understand the Tao of cause and effect, so he didn't know exactly what Yuyan had done. Wiping the blood from her lips, Yuyan said, "I planted a death fruit on him, but it didn't work well. There are many kinds of cause and effect, the death fruit is one of them. Once planted, the target is destined to die, though how and when is uncertain. The outcome is fixed, but the process is unknown. Planting a death fruit also brings backlash, reversing cause and effect is never pleasant." Yuyan's soul was injured, and Lin Moyu could sense her wounds were severe, especially on the soul level. Recovery would not be easy. Her soul was now unstable, and if not treated immediately, her injuries would worsen. Yuyan forced a bitter smile. "I didn't expect the backlash to be so severe." Lin Moyu took out a spirit flower. "Use this to heal first." Trusting Lin Moyu, Yuyan entered the spirit flower to recover. With a roar, Tun Yuan suddenly unleashed a terrifying power, knocking the Sword Emperor aside and turning to attack Lin Moyu's group. His true target was not Lin Moyu, but Yuyan. He had sensed the death fruit planted on him and wanted to kill her. Very sensitive, Lin Moyu thought, and with a thought, sent a horde of undead servants to form a meat shield in front of them. Tun Yuan plowed through, utterly ignoring the undead. His massive wings beat, unleashing a storm of power that shattered the undead instantly. The wind he stirred up was even more terrifying than the annihilation winds beneath the beast abyss. From the feedback of the undead, Lin Moyu felt Tun Yuan's immense strength. Tun Yuan was now on par with an eternal lord, stronger than any ordinary great Dao lord, and with abilities that made him nearly impossible to kill. Even eternals would struggle. "Careful," the Sword Emperor roared as he rushed over. Lin Moyu smiled faintly, unleashing a surge of origin energy, his aura soaring past the eternal level into another realm. Great Dao world-ending palm. He struck with all his might, a colossal palm print roaring through the void. Space shattered in its wake, and even the perpetual clouds above the battlefield were dispersed, letting the light of the great Dao pour down. The Sword Emperor yelped and quickly retreated to avoid the blast. But Tun Yuan, locked onto by Lin Moyu, had no way to escape and could only scream as he took the blow head-on. Tun Yuan's wings beat furiously, pouring out endless power, but it was all swallowed up by the world-ending palm, to no effect. Looking at those wings, Lin Moyu felt a strange sense of familiarity, not in their shape, but in their properties. As the world-ending palm struck, Tun Yuan's wings exploded into radiant light, enveloping him. Space and time-twisted Tun Yuan seemed to slip into another dimension, trying to evade the attack. Wings of time and curse. Lin Moyu was shocked. Wasn't this his own technique? It wasn't just similar, it was identical. No wonder it felt familiar. Much of the power radiating from Tun Yuan's wings was the power of curses. The palm print passed through Tun Yuan's body, shattering the light wings. His body was riddled with wounds, which then burst open, leaving him a bloody mess. Even escaping into another dimension couldn't fully shield him from the world-ending palm. Lin Moyu realized Tun Yuan suffered not only physical wounds but also heavy soul damage from the attack. Yet, to survive a full-force world-ending palm, Tun Yuan's power was truly formidable. The Sword Emperor descended, his Tao transforming into a sword. One sword severs the Tao. This sword was even stronger than before. Tun Yuan, already gravely wounded, was now at the end of his strength and couldn't block it. With a boom, he was smashed to the ground, his body blown apart, reduced to fragments. Lin Moyu didn't let up. With a wave of his hand, the world-burning fire swept down, turning the ground into a sea of flames. Tun Yuan was not so easy to kill. Even shattered, he would not die. Only by completely destroying his soul could he be truly killed. Lin Moyu stared intently at the ground and saw souls struggling in the flames. Suddenly, he frowned. Some souls slipped into the earth, quickly burrowing deep and vanishing. The Sword Emperor landed beside Lin Moyu. Finally killed him. Lin Moyu shook his head. No, some of his soul escaped. The Sword Emperor was shocked. He escaped. Lin Moyu nodded. He slipped into the depths of the earth. No idea where he's gone. The Sword Emperor's face darkened. That's a problem. If he's not dead, he'll come back sooner or later. Lin Moyu replied, but at least for now, there's no danger. Tun Yuan was so badly damaged he wouldn't recover for millions of years. By then, Lin Moyu was confident he'd have reached the eternal level or even transcended, and Tun Yuan would be nothing to fear. He was also intrigued by Tun Yuan's wings. Why were they identical to his own wings of time and curse? What was the connection? Though he rarely used the technique now, Lin Moyu knew how powerful it was. The curse power could shatter Taos and destroy worlds. If he ever transcended, the wings of time and curse might be able to break the entire universe. The Sword Emperor said quietly, seems that's all we can do for now. With Tun Yuan gone, the Sword Emperor couldn't track him and could only give up for now. As Lin Moyu said, there should be no trouble for millions of years. The Sword Emperor reigned in his aura, his expression complicated. That palm just now, how did you do it? Lin Moyu replied, I just did. The Sword Emperor snorted, not pressing further. He knew Lin Moyu wouldn't reveal his secrets. Pointing at the filth pool, he said, since you've reached half-step transcendence, I'll leave this pool to you. Restore it to its original state. Lin Moyu understood this was to prevent Tun Yuan from recovering. The filth pool was a product of the Great Tao, hard to destroy, otherwise, the Sword Emperor would have done so long ago. But restoring it to its original state, Lin Moyu could do that. All right. Without hesitation, he gathered his power, raising his realm to half-step transcendence. Great Tao world-ending palm. Palm prints rained down, striking the filth pool. The pool boiled, its Great Tao origin energy dissolved and destroyed by the world-ending palm, along with the Tao impurities. One palm after another shattered the pool's balance, restoring it to its original state. Its power faded, and there was no longer any soil for Tun Yuan to be reborn. 4088. 4088. Chapter 4088. Not of my race, ultimately not the same. This special filth pool had been restored to its original state, but the Sword Emperor was not satisfied. He plunged into the pool, using his own power to cut off the pool from the underground filth currents, then sealed the surface of the pool again. After checking several times and confirming that his seal had no flaws, only then did the Sword Emperor feel at ease. The spirit flower dispersed, and An Yuyan's soul recovered somewhat. She was an eternal, and while her soul was strong, healing injuries was also much more troublesome. A single spirit flower was clearly not enough. An Yuyan bowed gracefully to Lin Moyu. Many thanks, Taoist Lin, for your help. Lin Moyu was not stingy and took out several more spirit flowers for An Yuyan. Use these as well, they should be enough for you to recover. If not, come find me again. An Yuyan was not polite, smiling as she accepted them. That guy escaped. Should we go hunt him down? The Sword Emperor immediately asked, Taoistan, can you find his whereabouts? An Yuyan replied, I planted a fruit on him, there is a causal connection between us. I can track him through cause and effect. Lin Moyu could also use the Seeking Cause ring to find the escaped Tun Yuan, but he had his own thoughts and did not want to search immediately. But he would not stop the Sword Emperor either. The Sword Emperor said, then I'll trouble Taoist N. And Yuyan looked at Lin Moyu. What about you, Taoist Lin? Lin Moyu shook his head. Tun Yuan is only a remnant soul now. Sword Emperor alone is enough. Burial Dao Valley has been devastated, I need to stay and restore it. The Sword Emperor was puzzled, what's there to restore? Lin Moyu said, 621 sages are buried here. Their heroic spirits are immortal, and the great Dao flowers should bloom eternally. As a junior, it's my duty to restore this place. And Yuyan seemed to understand Lin Moyu's intentions and immediately supported him. Taoist Lin is right, the great Dao lords here once contributed to this world. Although they made mistakes and paid with their lives, as juniors, we should remember their merits, not just their faults. She thought for a moment, then took out a cause and effect treasure, condensed a mass of causal power into it, and handed it to the Sword Emperor. You can activate this treasure, it will point the way. Sword Emperor, you'll be able to find him quickly. The implication was clear, she didn't want to go either, so she gave the Sword Emperor a treasure and let him go alone. The Sword Emperor, as a spirit demon, thought differently from Lin Moyu and the others, he could not understand Lin Moyu's thinking. If that's the case, I'll go myself. Once I've settled this, I'll come back for you, Taoist Lin. Then I'll trouble you to walk the land of severed Daos again. Lin Moyu nodded slightly, all right, I'll wait for your triumphant return, Sword Emperor. The Sword Emperor activated the cause and effect treasure, received its guidance, and immediately flew off. Looking at the devastated Burial Dao Valley, now almost razed to the ground, Lin Moyu sighed softly. Under the Sword Emperor's fierce assault, Burial Dao Valley had been completely destroyed, nothing like it once was. The pool was sealed, but the Sword Emperor had not set up any protections. If a great Dao Lord who didn't know the situation approached and triggered the seal, they could easily be killed by it. This showed the Sword Emperor truly didn't care about the lives of cultivators. After the Sword Emperor left, and Yuyan smiled at Lin Moyu. Looks like you have some opinions about him. Lin Moyu shook his head. Not really, but I don't like him. And Yuyan said, he's not of our race, so of course he doesn't consider such things when he acts. Lin Moyu said, that's normal, I suppose. I just can't get used to it, personal reasons. Senior, why didn't you want to go with him? And Yuyan squinted and smiled, because we're on the same side. For a moment, and Yuyan seemed a bit mischievous, less serious than usual. Lin Moyu was amused by her words. True, we're on the same side. As they spoke, Lin Moyu began to act. Countless undead servants flew out, one every 10 meters or so, quickly occupying the entire area of Burial Dao Valley. And Yuyan watched Lin Moyu. Taoist Lin, how do you plan to restore Burial Dao Valley? Lin Moyu said, restoring the terrain is easy, the hard part is the great Dao flowers. I don't know if I can succeed, but I'll try. The great Dao flowers contained the will of the sages. Once that dissipated, it would be very hard to restore. And Yuyan extended her jade hand, and a fruit appeared in her palm. She planted another fruit, softly chanting, then let An Yuyan plant a fruit of success for Taoist Lin. Every time she planted a fruit, she had to bear the backlash of the great Dao. Even as the Lord of the Cause and Effect Dao, An Yuyan could only reduce the backlash, not avoid it. Earlier, to kill Tun Yuan, she had planted a death fruit and was badly injured by the backlash. Normally, she would not plant fruits lightly, preferring other ways to influence cause and effect. But for Lin Moyu, she planted a fruit directly. Lin Moyu felt a trace of gratitude. Thank you, Taoist N. And Yuyan smiled. No need to be so polite between us. The fruit of success dissipated in a gentle light. And Yuyan swayed slightly, her face turning pale. She had clearly suffered backlash from the great Dao. The backlash was unavoidable, but this time it was not as severe as before. With An Yuyan's help, Lin Moyu's chances of success increased. Tens of millions of undead servants simultaneously activated the Time Great Dao, moving in perfect unison, their auras synchronized as if they were one. The Time Great Dao fused together, forming a great net that slowly enveloped the entire Burial Dao Valley. Time reversal. Time belonging to Burial Dao Valley began to flow backward. Events that had happened here began to reappear. And Yuyan looked on nervously. She knew how difficult time reversal was. This was not just looking back at what had happened, but actually pulling things from the river of time and bringing the past into reality. If nothing much had happened here, it would be easier, but if there had been a great battle, those events would replay. As the caster, Lin Moyu would have to bear all that cause and effect. The destruction caused by the battle would affect the caster. And Yuyan instinctively thought Lin Moyu would have a hard time succeeding, but since he chose to do it, he must have some confidence. Time reversal began, quickly reaching the point of the previous great battle. A massive backlash swept through, and many undead servants died instantly, unable to withstand it. This was a battle at the eternal level. It was normal for the undead to be unable to endure. But although the undead died, their power did not cease. In the next instant, they revived, maintaining the time reversal. As long as all the tens of millions of undead didn't die at once, the reversal would not be interrupted. Moreover, Lin Moyu had countless undead ready to replace them at any time. This was Lin Moyu's confidence. And Yuyan was stunned by what she saw. She hadn't expected Lin Moyu's methods to be so advanced. When the moment in time appeared where Lin Moyu struck Tun Yuan to pieces, and Yuyan was startled again. So it was Taoist Lin who killed Tun Yuan. At the time, she had been inside the spirit flower and didn't know what was happening outside. She thought the Sword Emperor had driven Tun Yuan away. She hadn't realized it was Lin Moyu's palm that truly defeated Tun Yuan. That palm was indeed terrifying. 4089. 4089. Chapter 4089, Time Reversal. The undead servants endured the backlash of the Great Tao, maintaining the time reversal through cycles of death and rebirth without interruption. At last, the undead managed to survive the great battle, rewinding to the very beginning of the conflict. Now came the most critical step: how to bring objects from the reversed time into the present. Everything existed in the past, and the past existed within the river of time. The time Great Tao continued to operate. Tens of thousands of undead servants exerted their full strength, pushing the time Great Tao to its limit, summoning the river of time. The river of time appeared. Lin Moyu had visited it before and was familiar with the spirit of time. Lin Moyu suddenly asked, "Senior N, is the eye of time still asleep?" And Yuyan gave a definite answer, "Still asleep." Lin Moyu grinned, "Good, I'll be right back." He flew into the river of time, where the spirit of time appeared. Lin Moyu greeted him with a smile, "Spirit of time, I'm back again." The spirit of time asked, "What do you want this time?" Lin Moyu replied, "Of course I need your help. I'm doing a time reversal here." The spirit of time glanced at Burial Dao Valley and asked, "How large is the area?" Lin Moyu said, "It's quite large, but there's no other way. Please help me, spirit of time." The spirit of time was clearly troubled. "You're not the Lord of Time. While I control the river of time, there are many things I'm restricted from doing. If the Lord of Time were doing this, it would be much easier." Lin Moyu said, "If you have any requests, I'll do my best to fulfill them." The spirit of time thought for a moment. "There is something. If you agree, I'll help you. ... At this moment, and Yuyan was surprised Lin Moyu could actually converse with the spirit of time, and it seemed they already knew each other. Among all the great Taos, the time Great Tao was unique. Beyond the time Great Tao was the river of time. The Lord of Time controlled the time Great Tao and, through it, the river of time. But within the river itself was the spirit of time, who, in theory, was under the Lord of Time's control, but only in theory. The spirit of time was not completely subordinate and clearly had his own will. If displeased, he could simply refuse to cooperate. However, the spirit of time could not control the time Great Tao, so there were things he could not do either. Lin Moyu and the spirit of time seemed to be negotiating something, and Yuyan couldn't hear, but she knew it must be important. After a moment's thought, Lin Moyu agreed to the spirit of time's request. He then left the river of time. The spirit of time waved his hand, and the river of time flowed down, thick mist enveloping Burial Dao Valley. At this moment, time flowing in reverse froze. The destroyed Great Tao flowers reappeared, the ruined Origin Mountains were restored. In just moments, everything in Burial Dao Valley returned to its original state. The spirit of time said quietly, "Don't forget your promise." Lin Moyu replied, "Rest assured, I will keep my word." The river of time slowly faded. Both Lin Moyu and Yuyan could sense that after completing the time reversal, the spirit of time was clearly weakened. Without the Lord of Time's support, it was difficult for the spirit of time to accomplish such a feat alone. He paid a significant price. And Yuyan smiled, "Taoist Lin, for doing this, you'll surely be rewarded in the future." Lin Moyu said, "I don't seek rewards, only a clear conscience." As he spoke, he began drawing divine runes, preparing a new formation. And Yuyan asked, puzzled, "Taoist Lin, what are you doing now?" Lin Moyu replied, I want to take a look at the filth pool. During the time reversal, he had made some small moves. Not only did Burial Dao Valley experience time reversal, but so did the filth pool. However, because the great Dao origin energy was too strong and the Dao impurities too filthy, the river of time might not be able to bear it, so it might not work. The formation in Burial Dao Valley was activated again, the ground split open, and the filth pool appeared. Sure enough, the filth pool no longer contained great Dao origin energy, it had returned to its original state. However, the new seal the Sword Emperor had placed was gone, replaced by the ancient seal he had set millions of years ago. This seal had a back door, secretly left by Zan Junzi, which Lin Moyu could use to enter the pool. At this moment, the filth pool was exactly as Lin Moyu wanted. I'll go take a look. Lin Moyu flew toward the pool, and An Yuyan followed, smiling, I'll come too. She knew exactly what Lin Moyu wanted to see, the so-called essence of filth. In other pools, the Dao impurities, though strong, would eventually form the bodies of Dao wild beasts. Only this pool was unique, unable to produce Dao wild beasts, all the impurities accumulated over billions of years, eventually forming the essence of filth. Lin Moyu opened a passage through the formation and entered the pool, diving deeper and deeper. He had already dispersed the great Dao origin energy in the pool, so he had some understanding of the situation inside. At the time, he had avoided the filth, only dispersing the origin energy. The Sword Emperor had not noticed his small trick. The two continued to descend until they reached the bottom of the pool. There was another seal here, newly placed by the Sword Emperor. The pool was so deep that it had not been affected by the time reversal. This seal blocked new Dao impurities from entering the pool, but Lin Moyu thought it wouldn't last long. Eventually, the impurities would contaminate the seal. While the seal wouldn't be destroyed, once polluted, the filth could seep in. So the Sword Emperor's seal was of limited use at most, it would last a few thousand or 10,000 years, which is nothing on a cosmic scale. This also showed the Sword Emperor's overconfidence. Visibility in the pool was poor, even Lin Moyu and An Yuyan couldn't see far. Chaotic forces filled the space, greatly hindering their senses. Lin Moyu sent out countless undead servants in all directions to search for the essence of filth, greatly increasing efficiency. After just half an hour, an undead servant reported back. Found it. Lin Moyu immediately brought An Yuyan over. In an inconspicuous corner, amid countless Dao impurities, a lump the size of a baby's fist rolled about. It emitted a faint light and a chaotic aura. All the filth in the pool converged on it, but it had not yet reached the point of transformation. Instead, it exuded an indescribable sense of disgust. Even at their cultivation level, Lin Moyu and An Yuyan felt uncomfortable just looking at it. An Yuyan said, this thing is even filthier than a beast emperor. That was natural, it was the dirtiest thing she had ever seen. It seemed capable of polluting not just Daos, but even the world itself. Lin Moyu said, it's certainly filthy, but if it could surpass its limits, it might become the purest thing in existence. When filth reaches the extreme and then surpasses it, its nature can flip to the opposite extreme. Lin Moyu pondered, I have an idea, but I don't know if it's possible. An Yuyan asked, what idea? Lin Moyu said, I want to push it past its limits and nurture a new life form from it. An Yuyan's face changed dramatically. You want to do that kind of thing too? 4090, 4090. Chapter 4090, one link after another. An Yuyan looked at Lin Moyu with some concern, but she didn't immediately object. With her understanding of Lin Moyu, she knew he wouldn't do anything meaningless. Lin Moyu shook his head with a smile, of course not, I'm not like them. It's hard to say the specifics yet, right now it's just an idea, but I think it's very likely to work. An Yuyan said nothing, she didn't know whether to oppose him or not. Instinctively, she chose to trust Lin Moyu, but the events of 10 million years ago told her it was unrealistic. Lin Moyu, with his great thousand world for comparison, could clearly see the flaws in this world. It was not perfect. The Dao wild beasts were the result of this imperfection. What he wanted to do was patch the flaws and make this world a little more perfect. This sudden idea gave birth to a plan. Patch the flaw, rather than crudely slaughtering all the Dao wild beasts. Dao wild beasts could never be completely wiped out. As long as the flaw remained, they would keep appearing endlessly. The only way was to fix the flaw and make it disappear. An Yuyan still couldn't make up her mind, her gaze complicated as she looked at Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu reviewed his plan in his mind and, seeing a high chance of success, made his decision directly, Senior, there's no need to worry about this anymore. I've already decided. It was as if he was helping An Yuyan make the decision for her. An Yuyan replied, if that's the case, then I'll leave it to Taoist Lin. Lin Moyu said, no need for you to plant a fruit for me, Senior. This matter involves too much, and it's not suitable to plant a fruit. What I'm about to do involves the entire world, and the karmic backlash is even greater than with Tun Yuan. If An Yuyan planted a fruit for him, the backlash might be more than she could bear. She might even fall into dormancy. An Yuyan didn't fully understand the risks, so Lin Moyu deliberately warned her. She had just raised her hand when Lin Moyu spoke, so she stopped immediately, understanding his meaning. Taoist Lin, what exactly are you going to do? Lin Moyu replied, if I succeed, the problem of Tao wild beasts will be solved once and for all. An Yuyan's beautiful eyes shone. She understood what that meant. It would change the rules of the world. The Eternals would no longer need to guard the Ungduan Mountains, and the great Tao Lords wouldn't have to spend most of their time in the origin ancestral land. For the world, it would be an unimaginable achievement. If he succeeded, knocking on the door of eternity would be inevitable. But Lin Moyu himself was already the Lord of the Immortality Great Tao. As long as his cultivation improved, he would naturally become eternal. So whether he could break through eternity was not important to him. And Yuyan didn't know that Lin Moyu had a purpose for doing this. He had studied the evolution of the world, had come into contact with great Tao origin energy in the origin mountains, and had seen the scene of the world's creation. From the very beginning, the world was full of flaws and problems. Nothing was perfect. Over countless years, flaws were patched, and the world became stronger and more perfect. The existence of Tao wild beasts was the greatest flaw. If it could be fixed, the world would become even stronger. At the same time, Lin Moyu was considering another question. This world had no master. If he could become its master, perhaps things would be different. But to become the world's master required many conditions, starting with recognition from the world itself. If he became the world's master, then after achieving eternity, taking the final step would be much easier. The complexity of Lin Moyu's thoughts was known only to himself. This was not just a plan, but a series of plans, one link after another. Divine runes flew from Lin Moyu's hand, bringing a strange light to the filth pool. The runes formed an incomparably complex formation, wrapping around the essence of filth. The Tao filth in the pool was attracted by the formation, flowing rapidly into it and being absorbed, then merging into the essence of filth. This lump of filth essence, only the size of a baby's fist, had accumulated over billions of years. There should have been more in the pool, but much of it had been absorbed by Tun Yuan. What was left was already not much. The undead servants continued searching, while Lin Moyu focused on the current piece. The naturally gathered filth, now accelerated by Lin Moyu's intervention, gathered 1,000 or 10,000 times faster. With the filth essence as a seed, the filth quickly transformed into more essence, making the essence in the formation ever stronger. And Yuyan watched in amazement. Lin Moyu was essentially hand-cultivating filth essence. But the filth in this pool was limited. At this rate, it would soon be depleted. And the passage between the pool and the underground filth rivers had been sealed by the Sword Emperor, so no new filth could enter. Lin Moyu also couldn't take the filth essence to other pools. Other pools would just use it to create Tao wild beasts. And Yuyan saw the growing filth essence and the dwindling filth in the pool, and for a moment didn't know what Lin Moyu would do next. After confirming his formation was sound, Lin Moyu dove deeper, with An Yuyan following curiously. At the bottom of the pool, they encountered the Sword Emperor's seal. The Sword Emperor's seal seemed to have countless flowing swords, ceaseless and endless. It was a special seal, made from his own sword Great Tao. Lin Moyu sent out a thought, and the Sword Tao Spirit Demon appeared beside him. Sword cries rang out, and the Sword Tao Spirit Demon's aura filled the space. And Yuyan looked at the Sword Tao Spirit Demon in surprise, thinking, this little guy is so similar to the Sword Emperor. The similarity wasn't in appearance, but in aura. Both controlled independent sword Great Taos. The difference was that the Sword Tao Spirit Demon's Tao was a copy from this world, while the Sword Emperor's was from the Spirit Demon clan. In comparison, the Sword Tao Spirit Demon was even more pure and independent. Lin Moyu instructed, see if you can resonate with the seal. Be careful not to alert its owner. The Sword Tao Spirit Demon answered and flew down to the seal. He transformed into a sword, humming softly, and gradually merged into the seal. The Sword Tao Spirit Demon disappeared, becoming one of the countless swords in the seal. A moment later, the Sword Dao Spirit Demon's voice came, "Master, I've merged in." Lin Moyu said, "Open a passage to the outside." The Sword Dao Spirit Demon immediately got to work, and soon a hole appeared in the seal, connecting the inside and outside. Instantly, large amounts of filth from the underground filth river poured through the hole into the pool. Now the pool had a source of filth again, no more worries about running out. Lin Moyu wasn't satisfied. He had the Sword Dao Spirit Demon open several more holes. At the same time, he set up formations in the holes to keep them open for a long time. The Sword Emperor had no idea that his carefully laid seal was now full of holes and leaking everywhere. The undead servants reported back they had found more filth essence. 4091, 4091. Chapter 4091, He doesn't dare do anything to me. From the very beginning of this world, the filth pool had been accumulating impurities, eventually forming a considerable amount of filth essence. Even after Tun Yuan devoured part of it, there was still some left. Now, Lin Moyu had found all of it, gathering the filth essence together and making the essence he was cultivating even stronger, saving a great deal of time. The Sword Emperor's seal, now riddled with holes, continuously delivered filth to the pool, which Lin Moyu's formation quickly absorbed. Not only that, Lin Moyu also entered the underground dark river and set up formations there. This was something even Zan Junzi couldn't do back then. His formations would have been corrupted by the Dao filth and rendered useless. But Lin Moyu could do it. All his divine runes had been modified, fused with some characteristics of chaotic lifeforms, making them immune to corruption. With this, vast amounts of filth from the dark river were forcibly drawn into the pool, providing nourishment for the filth Lin Moyu was cultivating. Looking at his handiwork, Lin Moyu suddenly said, "If you follow the dark river, could you reach the very core of the great wilderness?" And Yuyan thought for a moment. In theory, yes, but no one's ever done it, and there's not much point. Lin Moyu smiled, "Maybe there is. Having another path is always good." At this point, and Yuyan was clearly worried. What if the Sword Emperor finds out what you're doing? Lin Moyu said, "If he finds out, so be it. He doesn't dare do anything to me." And Yuyan didn't know where Lin Moyu's confidence came from, but judging by his demeanor, he truly wasn't worried about being discovered by the Sword Emperor. Lin Moyu smiled, "If I were worried about the Sword Emperor finding out, I wouldn't have restored Burial Dao Valley in the first place." There was a time when Lin Moyu didn't know what kind of existence the Spirit Demon clan was. Because of their mystery, he treated them with respect, knowing only that their strength surpassed that of cultivators, Eternals. 621 great Dao Lords had died because of them, and even the Eternals didn't dare say anything. But now, Lin Moyu knew their origins and had seen their true strength. Outwardly, he still showed respect, but in his heart, he no longer cared. After all, the spirit demons were just following orders. A single icy jade meditation mat was enough to keep them from daring to touch him. Their strength was great, but as the Sword Emperor demonstrated, while stronger than the average Eternal, they hadn't surpassed the Eternal realm. At the very least, Lin Moyu's world-ending palm was enough to give them a headache. For these reasons, Lin Moyu wasn't afraid of offending them anymore. They couldn't easily abandon this world, because they had a mission. If they did, their superiors would punish them. Abandonment was conditional only if certain requirements were met. Because of all this, Lin Moyu dared to restore Burial Dao Valley. He was determined to do it. If the Sword Emperor hadn't left, he might have done it right in front of him. Since the Sword Emperor was gone, it just saved him the trouble. He stopped worrying about it, and as he watched the filth essence grow stronger, and Yuyan asked, "How long will you need to cultivate it?" Lin Moyu said, "At the current rate, about 100 years. And Yuyan asked, "Are you planning to stay here the whole time?" Lin Moyu nodded slightly, "Yes, I'll stay here to prevent accidents." "Are you planning to go back?" And Yuyan nodded, "I plan to return to the Dao and heal my injuries first. I'll come back in 100 years to watch your show." She joked lightly, and Lin Moyu smiled, "All right, I'll put on a good show for you then." And Yuyan frowned, "At first we were fellow Taoists, then friends, now comrades in arms. From now on, just call me Yuyan." Lin Moyu's heart skipped a beat, as if he sensed something. With a smile, he said, "All right, Yuyan, take care." And Yuyan smiled sweetly, but as she was about to leave, she paused. "By the way, be careful of the human emperor." Lin Moyu said, "The human emperor plans to make a move against me, right?" And Yuyan was surprised, "You know." Lin Moyu said, I've known for a while, but he's not confident. The reason is simple. My origin technique. He should realize that he can't obtain it, and if he tries, he might die. Yuyan, if you see the human emperor, help me pass on 4 words. And Yuyan asked, which 4? Universal spirit secret art. Lin Moyu uttered the 4 words. And Yuyan didn't ask for details. Alright, if I see him, I'll tell him. With that, and Yuyan left Burial Dao Valley and returned to the origin land to heal. After she left, Lin Moyu returned to Burial Dao Valley, keeping watch over the filth pool, accompanied by the great Dao flowers. Even when away from the pool, his attention remained on the filth essence, monitoring its every change. Whether his plan would succeed depended on this. At the same time, he continued to comprehend his own Dao, not the immortality Dao, but the Dao belonging to the Great Thousand World. The Great Thousand World was constantly growing at an astonishing rate, and as it did, Lin Moyu gained much insight. He gained a deeper understanding of the essence of worlds. The Great Thousand World, though called a world, was actually on the same level as the world he inhabited, a separate existence within chaos. In some races and eras, this was called a realm. The name might differ, but the essence was the same. Thus, by understanding and studying the Great Thousand World, Lin Moyu could comprehend his own world and how to become its master. He first realized this world was imperfect and lacked a master, and thus had the idea to become the master himself. Once a world has a master, all the uncontrollable elements change, and many seemingly unsolvable problems become easy to resolve. Years passed, and Lin Moyu meditated and drank tea in Burial Dao Valley, the wind stirring the great Dao flowers and filling the valley with fragrance. More than 20 years went by in a flash. In all that time, no one came to Burial Dao Valley. Sometimes, when a filth tide descended, Lin Moyu would enter it to comprehend the changes in heaven and earth at the edge of extremes, to understand the profound process of the world's evolution and the soul's transformation. When beast tides broke out, if they were too strong, he would send undead servants to block them, if not, he did nothing. More than 20 years later, Saint Heart, dressed in white, arrived in the valley. Seeing Lin Moyu sitting there, she smiled. As I expected, it's Taoist Lin. Lin Moyu smiled, the tea's just right. Come have a cup. Saint Heart walked over, smiling, the recent beast tides were weaker than expected. I guessed it was you, Taoist Lin, and sure enough, here you are. What are you doing in Burial Dao Valley? Lin Moyu pointed to the great Dao flowers. Keeping company with the sages, and making some arrangements. Saint Heart didn't understand what he meant, but it didn't matter. She squinted and smiled, mind if I keep you company? Lin Moyu smiled, with you here, Saint Heart, I couldn't ask for more. 4092. Chapter 4092, Helping the Human Emperor Take the Final Step. For the next 10 years, Saint Heart stayed in Burial Dao Valley, keeping Lin Moyu company. Saint Heart was skilled at the zither, her beautiful music drifting through the valley. The sound of her zither was imbued with rich life force, nourishing the great Dao flowers, making the sea of blossoms sway, and countless phantoms appeared above, faint applause echoing in praise of Saint Heart. Saint Heart often discussed the Dao with Lin Moyu. Though their Daos were different, all roads led to the same destination, and both gained much. Lin Moyu, multitasking, continued to study his Great Thousand World, gaining much from it as well. Many of these gains were subtle and not immediately apparent, but at some point in the future, their value would become clear and help Lin Moyu break through. After 10 years, Saint Heart finally left, considering Lin Moyu a true friend and promising to return when she had time. In their 10 years together, Saint Heart had gained even more than Lin Moyu, gaining a brand new insight into the Tao. She had almost fully digested the legacy left by the former Lord of Life. Now, her cultivation was deeper than before. The improvement wasn't just in strength, but in her understanding of the Tao. Power was merely a byproduct of her elevated realm. Lin Moyu continued his orderly life. The filth essence grew day by day, becoming ever stronger. As it did, the filth pool gradually became clearer, as if moving in a new direction, it no longer resembled a filth pool. Lin Moyu made no effort to hide this change. Anyone visiting Burial Dao Valley could see it, though whether they understood was another matter. 50 years later, another visitor arrived at Burial Dao Valley. Lin Moyu brewed a good cup of tea. Human Emperor, come try Lin's tea. The Human Emperor laughed heartily, sat down familiarly across from Lin Moyu, picked up the tea and drained it in one gulp, loudly praising, excellent tea. His manner was that of an old friend, completely at ease. Lin Moyu knew perfectly well that even if it were just a cup of plain water, the human emperor would praise it as excellent because of 4 words, Universal Spirit Secret Art. Lin Moyu said, "Human Emperor, you're a bit late." The human emperor laughed, "That old ghost Janmu was causing trouble, so I had to go deal with him." Among all the Eternals, the human emperor was one of only 2 who had laid plans in the virtual world, which meant his final step was related to the virtual world. As for the other, the Lord of Time, his plans had already failed. But after so many years, the human emperor's schemes seemed to have yielded no results. Lin Moyu wondered how he would take his final step. Lin Moyu had some guesses, so he used the Universal Spirit Secret Art as bait to see if the human emperor would come. Now it seemed his guess was almost certainly correct. The human emperor had his own plans, but so did Lin Moyu. Lin Moyu asked, "What do you plan to do with Emperor Janmu?" The human emperor didn't hide anything this time. "What else can I do? I can't kill him, so I have to keep him locked up. If he'd cooperated back then, I wouldn't have had to go to all this trouble. It should have been a win-win, but he insisted on making it so complicated. If I can take that final step, he'll be free, but I won't be here anymore. If I fail, whether I fall silent or perish, he'll be free all the same, and he won't find anyone to take revenge on. So, that grudge is doomed to go unavenged." At this, the human emperor laughed wildly, a bit madly. After so many years of failing to take the final step, his Tao heart had suffered. He realized this and chuckled, "My Tao heart's been shaken, sometimes you just have to let it out. Hope you don't mind, Taoist Lin." Lin Moyu smiled, "Better to vent than bottle it up. Your choice is the right one." The human emperor drank another cup of tea. "Let's not beat around the bush. Taoist Lin, just say it. To help the emperor, you need the Universal Spirit Secret Art." Lin Moyu chuckled, "Do you know what the complete Universal Spirit Secret Art is?" The human emperor shook his head. "I don't." He was honest, he didn't try to bluff. He had obtained the spirit stealing technique, so it wasn't surprising he knew of the Universal Spirit Secret Art. But Lin Moyu bet he didn't know the details. Lin Moyu said, "Within the Universal Spirit Secret Art, there's a technique that works in tandem with the spirit stealing technique. It's called Spirit Control Technique. I believe that's what you need." He explained the function of the Spirit Control Technique, and the human emperor's eyes lit up. "That's exactly what I need." Lin Moyu said, "All right, I'll be direct. I'll give you the Spirit Control Technique if you help me with something." The human emperor asked, "What is it?" Lin Moyu replied, "Help me deal with an enemy that can't be killed." The human emperor raised an eyebrow, "An eternal?" Lin Moyu nodded, "That's right. You don't need to kill him, just put him into dormancy." The human emperor fell into thought, weighing the pros and cons. Dealing with an eternal was no small matter. If he failed, he'd make a powerful enemy. Suddenly, the human emperor asked, "It's the Lord of Curses, isn't it?" Lin Moyu smiled without confirming or denying, but the human emperor already knew. He pondered again. The Lord of Curses was no easy target, one of the original 8 eternal lords from the dawn of the world, alive for countless years, and said to be terrifyingly powerful. Back when he failed to take the final step, he fell into dormancy. Now he had returned, scheming for his final step once more. The human emperor said, "He's not easy to deal with. To be honest, I discovered long ago that he left a mark on your Tao, which meant he had returned and was targeting you. But I never knew why he wanted to target you. I was curious, so I left a mark on your Tao as well. But I promise, I never spied on your privacy." Lin Moyu said, "That's all in the past, no need to mention it. Let's talk about now. He wants to target me, so I'll target him too. I'll set up the whole scheme, guaranteeing he has nowhere to run. With you and me working together, we should be able to force him into dormancy. If we succeed, I'll give you the spirit control technique and help you take your final step." That last sentence was an irresistible temptation for the human emperor. The final step he had pursued it for countless years, it was almost an obsession. Now the greatest opportunity was before him. Would he dare take it? Of course, he had another option, to capture Lin Moyu and force the answer out of him. But he wouldn't choose that. Lin Moyu was not easy to deal with, and just obtaining the Universal Spirit Secret Art was already more than he had. Plus, the human emperor deeply feared Lin Moyu's world-ending palm. After a long consideration, the human emperor asked, "When do you plan to act?" Lin Moyu replied, I still have things to do here, and he's hiding in the shadows. We have to wait for him to make the first move. At most 1,000 years, at least 300 to 500 he'll definitely act. The human emperor made up his mind. All right, I'll wait for your word. He took out a square jade stone, inside which was inscribed a formation. Lin Moyu saw it was a teleportation array, not special in itself, but the jade stone was. As a formation plate, it could directly power the array, portable and much more convenient than ordinary formation plates. The human emperor said, when the time comes, just activate this array and I'll arrive immediately. 4093. Chapter 4093. If you want to fight, I'll accompany you. The human emperor did not linger. Making this decision was not easy for him, but once it was made, he would see it through with determination. Lin Moyu was not worried about whether the human emperor would give his all. Since he had decided to oppose the Lord of Curses, he would definitely go all out. If they failed to kill the Lord of Curses in one strike, they would make a powerful enemy for themselves. The human emperor understood the gravity of the situation, so he would put forth his full strength, perhaps even more ruthlessly than Lin Moyu. Moreover, the human emperor greatly desired the spirit control technique. Ever since returning from that gate, he had obtained the spirit seizing technique, trapped the Janmu emperor, and used the spirit grain to lay out the entire great spirit domain. Now, he was just one step away from the final breakthrough. How could he possibly give up? Thus, the spirit control technique was his lifeline, a condition he could not refuse. From the moment Lin Moyu had asked in Yuyan to deliver the message, he had calculated everything, all was within his grasp. The human emperor knew this too, and so entered the game willingly. As for whether Lin Moyu truly had the spirit control technique, the human emperor could naturally tell there was no fooling him. After the human emperor left, Lin Moyu returned to his previous routine, comprehending the Tao, observing the great thousand world, and cultivating the filth essence. 100 years was not long. For someone at the level of a great Tao Lord, it could pass in a single closed-door cultivation. But this century was destined to be eventful, with visitors coming one after another. Saint Heart visited several times, each time staying with Lin Moyu for a while before leaving again. As the Lord of Life, she had many responsibilities. The filth essence grew ever stronger, getting closer and closer to Lin Moyu's expectations. In the 92nd year, a sword aura burst into Burial Dao Valley. The Sword Emperor returned, carrying killing intent. As usual, Lin Moyu poured him a cup of tea. Sword Emperor, you look travel-worn. It seems you've gained something. In truth, the Sword Emperor's expression was not good. Lin Moyu could tell he hadn't succeeded, but he said this just as a courtesy. The Sword Emperor looked around Burial Dao Valley, his expression strange. The valley had been reduced to ruins before, yet now it was restored. And the filth pool. He transformed into a sword light and flew above the pool, seeing its increasing clarity and his own seal. But this was not the seal he had placed decades ago, but the one from millions of years ago. At the same time, he sensed that the seal he had set beneath the pool was compromised. Realizing something was wrong, the Sword Emperor's expression changed and he rushed toward the pool. Just as Lin Moyu set his teacup down, a light sound was heard as the cup touched the table. Whoosh! A formation appeared above the pool, unleashing a terrifying force that blasted the Sword Emperor back. This was Lin Moyu's formation, built atop Zan Junzi's and further enhanced, so powerful that even the Sword Emperor would have a hard time breaking through. Stabilizing himself in midair, the Sword Emperor glared at Lin Moyu. What did you do? Lin Moyu replied, I'm conducting an experiment. If it succeeds, it will solve the problem of the Tao wild beasts once and for all. The Sword Emperor's face grew darker. Those great Tao lords from millions of years ago had said similar things. His gaze turned icy. Open the formation, I want to go down. Lin Moyu refused. No. The Sword Emperor's aura surged, sword cries filling the air, and a great Tao transformed into a sword, hanging overhead as if ready to strike Lin Moyu at any moment. Lin Moyu said, if Sword Emperor insists on forcing your way in, I don't mind fighting you. But you should know my strength, you might not gain any advantage. As he spoke, space in Burial Dao Valley warped, and countless undead servants appeared in the void. At the same time, layers upon layers of formations manifested throughout the valley, each one formidable. Lin Moyu had spent nearly 100 years here, not just meditating, but also fortifying Burial Dao Valley with all kinds of formations, arming it to the teeth. The formations covered not only the entire valley but also parts of the surrounding land. Even if the Sword Emperor fought here now, the valley would remain unharmed. Without Lin Moyu even acting, the formations and undead alone could hold the Sword Emperor off for quite a while. Lin Moyu's confidence in facing the Sword Emperor came not just from the icy jade meditation mat, but from his own strength. The Sword Emperor looked at the overwhelming undead and, recalling that palm strike Lin Moyu had used against Tun Yuan, realized he had no real advantage. Considering Lin Moyu's mysterious identity, the Sword Emperor's aura weakened. Lin Moyu said, "If you want to talk, come down and have some tea. We can chat. If not, then please leave, and when I'm done here, I'll take you back." The Sword Emperor took several deep breaths, his body twisting as he struggled to suppress his rage. After a while, he finally calmed down and sat across from Lin Moyu. "What do you want to talk about?" Lin Moyu gestured, "Have some tea first. There's no rush, I'll explain everything." The Sword Emperor took a sip and set the cup down with a snap. "Speak." Lin Moyu said, "I'm not like those seniors from millions of years ago. They were exploring, only speculating about the results of their experiments. But I know exactly what I'm doing, what the outcome will be, and what will ultimately happen." The Sword Emperor frowned. "Empty words. Why should I believe you?" Lin Moyu replied, "Belief is up to you. In any case, you can't stop me, and you can't call in the other spirit demon emperors for help. Why not just stay and watch my experiment? In a few more years, you'll see the final result." The Sword Emperor seemed to consider Lin Moyu's words. After a moment, he said, "Fine, I'll watch and see what tricks you're up to." Lin Moyu said, "If you want to watch, you can't just watch for free. I have a request." The Sword Emperor snorted, "Don't push it. Do you really think I don't dare fight you?" Lin Moyu shook his head, "It's not that you don't dare, but that you're not confident. Honestly, I can't beat you head on, but you won't have an easy time either. So let's not say such things, it's just laughable." With every word, Lin Moyu reminded the Sword Emperor, fighting him wouldn't bring any advantage, so there was no point in threatening. The Sword Emperor gradually calmed down. "What's your request?" Lin Moyu said, "After this is over, help me deal with someone." The Sword Emperor snorted, "With your strength, you still need my help." Suddenly, he realized something. "You want to deal with an Eternal?" Lin Moyu said, "That's right, an Eternal." The Sword Emperor said, "He can't be killed, so why bother?" Lin Moyu said, "No need to ask about the details. Eternals are indeed hard to kill, but not impossible. At least, I have a way. After this is done, I'll take you through the land of severed Daos back to the Spirit Demon clan. And I promise, I'll handle Tun Yuan, he won't survive." Lin Moyu offered some guarantees to secure the Sword Emperor's help. In his plan, the Sword Emperor was an extra, not a necessity. Having him was just another layer of security, increasing the chances of success. 4094. 4094. Chapter 4094. Using the Tao as a guide, when things reach the extreme, they reverse. The Sword Emperor finally calmed down and said in a low voice, "Are you sure you can get rid of Tun Yuan?" Lin Moyu replied, "Anything I promise, I will do. Tun Yuan was crippled by me, so of course I can kill him completely. Moreover, if you're willing to help me, just treat it as me owing you a favor. Regardless of success or failure, I'll send you back to the Spirit Demon clan." The Sword Emperor pondered for a long time before finally agreeing to help Lin Moyu. He was not like the human emperor, he wasn't afraid to make enemies, and even if he failed, he wouldn't care. What truly made him agree was Lin Moyu's promise to deal with Tun Yuan. He didn't know why, but he always felt Lin Moyu was too mysterious. Just that one palm strike had utterly crippled Tun Yuan, and after chasing Tun Yuan for nearly 100 years, he still couldn't finish him off. The difference frustrated the Sword Emperor. The Sword Emperor recounted his years of hunting Tun Yuan, the two of them, one chasing and one fleeing, locked in a stalemate for a long time. Because of the cause and effect treasure in Yuan had given him, the Sword Emperor could easily find Tun Yuan, no matter how he hid. Eventually, Tun Yuan realized this and stopped hiding, escaping into the 10 million Origin Mountains. There were many Tao wild beasts in those mountains, and they became Tun Yuan's food. Tun Yuan seemed to be a natural nemesis of the Tao wild beasts. Even if he was weaker, he could still devour them. After consuming some Tao wild beasts, Tun Yuan recovered a bit, but when the Sword Emperor caught up and wounded him again, Tun Yuan fled once more. He escaped into a filth pool, using its power to recover further. The Sword Emperor chased him into the pool and wounded him again, forcing him to flee. This cycle of fighting and fleeing continued for over 100 years. Countless Dao wild beasts in the 10 million origin mountains were eaten or killed by the two, but in the end, Tun Yuan still wasn't slain. The Sword Emperor explained that Tun Yuan had found a filth-dark river leading to the inner battlefield and had already slipped through. The Sword Emperor couldn't pursue him through the dark river, and Tun Yuan might now be hiding in a king-level filth pool in the inner battlefield. Lin Moyu nodded slightly. No matter. Even if he can devour Dao wild beasts, it'll take a long time to recover, and even if he does, I can cripple him again. Besides, the beast emperors aren't easy to mess with. Until they figure out Tun Yuan's purpose, they won't sacrifice themselves. If my experiment succeeds, maybe even Tun Yuan will be solved. The Sword Emperor looked surprised. He hadn't expected Lin Moyu's experiment to have such a big impact. From initial suspicion, he now had a bit of hope for Lin Moyu's experiment. So the Sword Emperor settled down in Burial Dao Valley, not disturbing Lin Moyu, but finding a corner in the void to sit cross-legged, as if in deep sleep. In the 98th year, An Yuyan returned, bringing a fragrant breeze. Seeing the Sword Emperor, she smiled and greeted him. Sword Emperor, you're here too. Her injuries had fully healed, and she was now radiant and graceful, outshining even the great Dao flowers in the valley. She gave Lin Moyu a meaningful look, as if to say, the Sword Emperor didn't make a move. The filth pool had changed so drastically that anyone could see it. Given the Sword Emperor's temperament, he'd normally have gone down to check and probably would have fought with Lin Moyu. Yet now he could sit quietly, which was clearly unusual. The Sword Emperor only grunted softly and said nothing more. And Yuyan naturally didn't press. She sat down in front of Lin Moyu. Taoist Lin, how's it going? Lin Moyu said, almost done. About another year. And Yuyan smiled, looks like I came at just the right time. Lin Moyu nodded, you're right on time. And Yuyan took out a box and handed it to Lin Moyu. This is Dao tea from my Dao. Try it. Lin Moyu accepted it without fuss. All right. Without another word, he swapped out the tea leaves, and soon the fragrance filled the air. Lin Moyu couldn't help but praise it, and An Yuyan was obviously pleased, her eyes curving into crescent moons. An Yuyan's arrival brought more vitality to Burial Dao Valley. She chatted with Lin Moyu, sharing stories of her experiences, while Lin Moyu recounted some of his own. Both had rich histories, and their stories were fascinating. The Sword Emperor didn't join in, but his ears were perked up, clearly listening intently. Time passed unnoticed. In the 99th year, the filth essence reached Lin Moyu's expected standard a year earlier than anticipated. 9 is the ultimate number, 99 years is just right. With this realization, Lin Moyu put away the tea table and slowly rose into the air. Divine runes flew out, transforming into keys that unlocked the layers of formations he had set up. The filth pool was fully revealed, and the aura concealed by the formation surged skyward. The pool was now extremely clear, looking more like a crystal-clear pond than a filth pool. Within the pool, divine light swirled, as if a rare treasure lay within. The Sword Emperor slowly opened his eyes, staring at the transformed filth pool, eager to see what Lin Moyu was doing. Rise! Lin Moyu shouted, and the pool churned. A pillar of water shot skyward, and a strange stone about half a meter tall, wrapped in formations, floated up. This is. With his experience, the Sword Emperor immediately recognized it as the essence of filth. So Lin Moyu's century-long experiment was to solidify the filth essence. The Sword Emperor was a bit puzzled. This chunk of filth essence was indeed sizable, but what use could it have? Inside, it was filled with the purest Dao filth, filth to the extreme, no less than a beast emperor. Such a thing was useless to cultivators. And Yuyan said, in 100 years, it's grown this big. Lin Moyu replied, the effect is decent. With his intervention, 100 years of condensed filth essence was equivalent to 1,000,000 years of natural accumulation. He had saved 10,000 times the time. But this was still not enough. Although it was already essence, it hadn't yet reached the extreme. Lin Moyu set up a new formation, enveloping the filth essence. He summoned a massive world-burning fire and activated the formation, refine. The formation and world-burning fire became a furnace, refining the filth essence. The essence began to shrink, burning away impurities and leaving only the purest core. The filth essence grew smaller, but its filthiness only deepened. The Sword Emperor's expression changed several times, unconsciously stepping back. The filth essence was so foul that he didn't even want to touch it, afraid of being tainted by some strange curse. And Yuyan was also uncomfortable, but she didn't move, standing quietly at Lin Moyu's side. The half-meter-tall filth essence was gradually refined down to the size of a fist, the purest core, its aura making space itself wail. A terrifying curse spread from it. It wasn't just filth, but the most potent poison in the world. Anyone below the Great Tao realm would die from a single whiff, even at the Great Tao realm, a touch would be fatal. With a thought, Lin Moyu summoned the immortality Great Tao, infusing both the power of life and death into the refined essence. Using the Tao as a guide, when things reach the extreme, they reverse. Lin Moyu shouted, and his immortality Tao instantly reversed. 4095. 4095. Chapter 4095, The Soulless Beast. Using the immortality Great Tao as the guide, Lin Moyu pushed the filth essence that had reached its extreme truly past the limit, completing the principle that when things reach an extreme, they reverse. Everything Lin Moyu did was within the rules of heaven and earth, he did not break the rules. This was different from what the Great Tao Lords did millions of years ago. They had actually been breaking the rules. Because the Spirit Demon clan were not natives of this world, using the power of outsiders to transform the filth pool naturally broke the rules, so it was no wonder the things they created had problems. Once the filth essence surpassed its limit, a miraculous change occurred. All the filth disappeared, becoming incomparably pure, as if it was the cleanest thing in existence bar none. The dirtiest became the cleanest. This is the principle that when things reach an extreme, they reverse, moving from one extreme to the other. If left uncontrolled, after this transformation, this pure substance would gradually dissipate under the rules of heaven and earth. But now, that would not happen. Lin Moyu's work was only half done. He withdrew the world-burning fire and replaced it with the soul fire. Like a craftsman refining a treasure, Lin Moyu refined this flawless substance. In the soul fire, a Tao wild beast appeared. This beast was entirely pure, only palm-sized, but the power it radiated was astonishing, far beyond ordinary Tao wild beasts. It was like the opposite of all other Tao wild beasts, pure and nothing but pure. When the refining finished, the little beast let out a gentle cry, as clear and clean as its body. Its small body had a pair of bright, clean, and adorable eyes that made it very likable. And Yuyan narrowed her eyes, seeing through the surface to the essence, and whispered, "This beast has no soul." Lin Moyu nodded, "Yes, it has no soul, so it can't be considered a true living being, and it won't be polluted by the surrounding Taos. On the contrary, it was evolved from the dirtiest Tao impurities and has the ability to absorb and purify Tao filth." And Yuyan's eyes sparkled, "Can this little beast also devour Tao wild beasts?" Lin Moyu replied, "Strictly speaking, it purifies them. It can cleanse the filth from Tao wild beasts, turning it into its own power. It looks similar to devouring, but it's actually different. Tun Yuan devoured Tao wild beasts, and the more he devoured, the more polluted and violent he became. But this little beast I created can purify the filth of Tao wild beasts, and since it has no soul, it won't be affected. Its essence is not a true life form, but something between a half-creature and a half-treasure." The Sword Emperor also saw the truth. "So what will you do next?" Lin Moyu said, "Just let it act freely." With a thought, the little beast shot into the filth pool, diving straight to the bottom and slipping into the filth dark river. Wherever it passed, the filth dark river was purified. Lin Moyu said, "It will travel along the filth dark river to every filth pool, purifying the pools and the Tao wild beasts. Maybe at first it will be slow, but given time, all Tao wild beasts can be completely resolved." And Yuyan's beautiful eyes shone with admiration as she looked at Lin Moyu. For so many years, this problem had never been solved, yet Lin Moyu had tackled it at the root. Tao wild beasts had forced the great Tao lords and eternals to guard this place for ages. Now, it seemed their mission would soon end. And in Lin Moyu's view, the Spirit Demon clan's mission was almost over too. He looked at the Sword Emperor. "Sword Emperor, what do you think of this result?" The Sword Emperor put on a serious face, "Not bad. Your method really surprised me." Lin Moyu knew he cared about his reputation, so he didn't press. "Then, does the Sword Emperor still stand by his promise?" The Sword Emperor replied, "Of course. What I promise, I do. You should also keep your word." Lin Moyu said, "Naturally. I always keep my promises." And Yuyan said softly, "I can help you too." She had already learned from the human emperor that Lin Moyu was going to deal with the Lord of Curses, so she wanted to help. Lin Moyu said, "I'll contact you when the time comes. I've finished my preparations, all that's left is to see when that guy makes his move." And Yuyan said, "All right, I'll wait for your message in Burial Dao Valley." 100 years of effort had finally paid off. He had created this soulless beast to resolve the Dao wild beast problem. The rest was just a matter of time. Next, it would be the Lord of Curses' turn. The Lord of Curses had schemed against Lin Moyu for many years, hiding in the shadows and waiting for an opportunity. But Lin Moyu had also been plotting against him. In terms of scheming, the Lord of Curses seemed strong, but he was too cautious, and that was his weakness. After clearing away the marks the Lord of Curses left, Lin Moyu had escaped his surveillance and started planning how to deal with him. Unlike the Lord of Curses, once Lin Moyu made his move, he would strike hard and give no chance for escape. The problem now was how to lure the Lord of Curses into making a move. He needed to create an opportunity. Leaving Burial Dao Valley and using himself as bait, Lin Moyu returned to the Dao Lord Hall. The Human Emperor activated the formation for Lin Moyu. Saint Heart had already told the Human Emperor everything Lin Moyu had done over the years, single-handedly blocking most of the wild beasts. Although the Human Emperor was skeptical, Saint Heart spoke so convincingly that he had to believe it. So when Lin Moyu returned, the Human Emperor even greeted him with a, "Well done." Back at the Dao Lord Hall, Lin Moyu went to see Saint Heart, who was in seclusion refining pills. Afterward, Lin Moyu sought out the Lord of Formations. When he saw Lin Moyu, the Lord of Formations said quietly, "The formation you wanted is ready." Lin Moyu said, "Good. Here is the formation inheritance left by Zhan Junzi, Sr." The Lord of Formations looked it over and couldn't hide his joy. "Taoist Lin, are you really willing to give this to me?" Lin Moyu replied, "I always planned to give it to you, Sr. I just delayed a bit, please don't mind." The Lord of Formations had devoted his life to formations. Zhan Junzi's legacy was a supreme treasure to him. Years ago, Lin Moyu had forced him to set up a formation at the Dao Cliff. He was reluctant at first, but as he worked, his understanding of formations deepened. Later, he bore little grudge against Lin Moyu, and even felt grateful for the formation materials Lin Moyu had given him. This subtle change in attitude was something he hadn't even realized himself. He didn't even notice that he no longer resented Lin Moyu. After finishing the formation as requested, he waited for Lin Moyu's return. This time, it was a real surprise. The Lord of Formations said quietly, "I'll remember this favor. If you ever need anything, just ask." Lin Moyu said, "No requests. You've worked hard these years. Once the Dao wild beast problem is solved, you can devote yourself to the Dao of Formations." Without further explanation, Lin Moyu took his leave. Along the way, many people in the Dao Lord Hall greeted Lin Moyu warmly. Saint Heart had already spread word of what Lin Moyu had done, and since he'd shared so many inheritances, everyone was grateful for his selflessness. Unconsciously, Lin Moyu had earned the respect of all. 4096. 4096. Chapter 4096, The Gate of Eternity. After making a round through the Dao Lord Hall, Lin Moyu left once again. This time, he intended to create an opportunity to lure the Lord of Curses out. The key issue was that he didn't know where the Lord of Curses was or when he would strike. He could only guess. Lin Moyu's mind was as clear as a mirror. He knew exactly what the Lord of Curses cared about most, and what he feared most. The Lord of Curses cared most about Lin Moyu's body. When Lin Moyu first entered the Dao Lord Hall, the Lord of Curses had said his body wasn't good enough. But Lin Moyu believed it was because the Lord of Curses wasn't ready and feared failure, so he hadn't acted. Now that Lin Moyu had become a great Dao Lord and his physical body had grown even stronger, his overall strength had also greatly increased. Over these years, the Lord of Curses had also been preparing, surely more thoroughly than before. But there was a problem. As Lin Moyu grew stronger, the Lord of Curses' confidence in success diminished. This was a contradiction that couldn't be reconciled. Lin Moyu's growth far outpaced the Lord of Curses' control. The Lord of Curses would inevitably become anxious. What if Lin Moyu one day exceeded his expectations and achieved eternity in a single leap? If Lin Moyu became eternal and returned to the Great Tao, the Lord of Curses' plan would collapse, and he'd never have another chance. If the Lord of Curses wanted to take that final step, it would become nearly impossible. The faster Lin Moyu cultivated, the more the Lord of Curses would see his limitless potential and the more he'd want to seize Lin Moyu's body. So Lin Moyu calculated that the Lord of Curses would definitely make a move, and soon. Even if he wasn't fully prepared, he'd have to gamble just like a gambler, forced to risk it all even when the odds were bad. But the Lord of Curses was too cautious. What Lin Moyu needed to do was find a way to provoke him, to help him make up his mind. How to attract him? Lin Moyu already had a rough plan, but it would take some time to prepare. Lin Moyu went to Chengdao Cliff. Chengdao Cliff was a massive cliff, formed when a giant mountain range was cleaved in two. The cut was smooth, and the one who had split the cliff was the Lord of Slaughter, one of only 2 people to ever open the Gate of Eternity after the Gate of Origin closed. Unfortunately, he had since fallen silent, presumably after failing to take the final step, and no one knew where he'd gone. At Chengdao Cliff, Lin Moyu saw the formation the Lord of Formations had set up. He scanned it, taking in every detail. The formations were decent, not as perfect as his own, but usable. Lin Moyu had only asked the Lord of Formations to set up the outer part of the array, the true core would be handled by himself. He stayed at Chengdao Cliff for several days, carefully sensing the aura within. The cliff, cut by the Lord of Slaughter, still carried the indomitable killing intent of its creator. To achieve the Tao through slaughter, who knows how many Tao wild beasts he had slain. The combat power of the Lord of Slaughter was legendary. If he were still around, the pressure on cultivators in the Ungduan Mountains would be much less. A few days later, Lin Moyu left Chengdao Cliff and went to Jidao Mountain. On the outer battlefield, there were 3 notable sites: Burial Dao Valley, Chengdao Cliff, and Jidao Mountain. Of these, only Chengdao Cliff was a place of celebration, the other 2 were places of tragedy. Jidao Mountain was where many great Tao lords had attempted to break through the Gate of Eternity, only to fail. Breaking through the Gate of Eternity was not safe, one had to go all out, with nothing held back, to have any chance of success. In such circumstances, the great Tao Lord would suffer backlash at best, severe injury, at worst, death and Tao destruction. Records state that at least 100 great Tao Lords had perished in Jidao Mountain, once all peerless talents, yet they met such an end. The mountain was filled with a sense of sorrow. The obsessions of the great Tao Lords lingered, wandering the mountain, never dispersing. The great Tao is hard to walk, only the victor laughs, the defeated weep unseen. Feeling the sorrow in the mountain, Lin Moyu sighed softly. Once inside Jidao Mountain, Lin Moyu stopped flying and walked on foot, as if searching for something. 3 days after leaving Chengdao Cliff, in the very spot where Lin Moyu had stood, a divine rune suddenly appeared. The rune didn't glow and was unremarkable. If you weren't looking closely, you'd never notice it. It only appeared for a second before sinking into the earth and vanishing. In various corners of Chengdao Cliff, fist-sized souls appeared. The powder Lin Moyu had given the Lord of Formations was refined from great Tao origin energy and contained several strands of Lin Moyu's soul. When the powder was scattered across Chengdao Cliff, it meant Lin Moyu's soul was everywhere. Now, these souls were activated, and the tiny souls began their work, completing the final and most crucial part of the formation. They worked quickly and secretly. Even if someone was present, they might not notice. Meanwhile, Lin Moyu walked through Jidao Mountain for several months, circling it again and again, as if searching for something, but never stopping to look closely. Finally, after 6 months, Lin Moyu arrived at a place surrounded by 3 mountains, forming a small valley less than 100 meters across. Here, he began to set up a formation. Divine runes flew out, the array quickly taking shape and growing ever more complex. After several more months, an indescribably complex formation was complete. Lin Moyu stood at the center, making himself the core of the array. He spoke aloud, "Today, I, Lin Moyu, will attempt to knock on the Gate of Eternity. If I succeed, this place shall be renamed Chengdao Mountain." His voice echoed through Jidao Mountain, though it seemed he was only talking to himself, no one else was present. Lin Moyu's aura soared, his power reaching its peak. But just this level of aura was not enough to knock on the Gate of Eternity, not even enough to draw the projection of the origin land. Then Lin Moyu waved his hand, and 10 streams of strange aura rose up. The 2 types of aura quickly fused, and the shadow of the origin land appeared, along with an indescribable gate. The second force Lin Moyu drew upon was the fate of heaven and earth. To knock on the Gate of Eternity, one needed the fate of heaven and earth. Over the years, Lin Moyu had slain countless Tao wild beasts, accumulating an immense amount of fate. The Gate of Eternity radiated endless pressure, as if proclaiming to the world how noble and untouchable it was. This was Lin Moyu's second time seeing the Gate of Eternity, and for the first time he saw the carvings on the gate. It was a candle dragon. The Gate of Eternity was engraved with a candle dragon, which surprised Lin Moyu. The formation beneath his feet roared to life, combining his power and the fate of heaven and earth into a mighty punch that struck the gate of eternity. Boom! The gate of eternity shook violently, creaking as if about to open. But Lin Moyu coughed up blood, his face turning pale as his aura plummeted. Looking solemn, Lin Moyu wiped away the blood and did not try to knock again. The formation slowly ceased, the fate of heaven and earth dissipated, and the projection of the origin land vanished. Lin Moyu had failed to open the gate and was injured in the attempt. But his eyes shone with a sharp light. So that's how it is. When I knock again, it will be the moment I achieve the Tao. 4097. 4097. Chapter 4097, forcing you to make a move. A glint of insight flashed in Lin Moyu's eyes, as if he had understood something, and his expression was extremely pleased. He looked injured, but he didn't care at all. His words, "When I knock again, it will be the time I achieve the Tao," showed his absolute confidence in opening the gate of eternity. This attempt was just a trial, and he stopped at the surface, showing no attachment or temptation toward the gate of eternity. This also demonstrated Lin Moyu's unshakable Tao heart. Many great Tao lords fell because they couldn't resist the temptation of the gate of eternity, forcing themselves onward and refusing to let go, which ultimately led to their demise. Everything Lin Moyu showed his search for the right place, his arrangement of formations demonstrated his wisdom and his unshakable Tao heart. After finishing, Lin Moyu left Jadao Mountain without looking back. The formation he left behind remained, not withdrawn, to be used next time. This formation was profound and complex, containing Lin Moyu's understanding of formation Tao. If a formation grandmaster saw it, they would surely regard it as a treasure. After he left, a thin line of blood suddenly appeared in the sky, landing beside the formation. The bloodline circled the formation a few times, then shot back into the sky and vanished. The bloodline was much thinner than a hair, hidden in the light and hard to detect. After it left, the core of the formation seemed to move slightly, as if a pair of eyes had appeared. Far away, Lin Moyu smiled to himself, thinking, "You finally couldn't resist." Everything he did was to lure out the Lord of Curses. The Lord of Curses' biggest fear now was that Lin Moyu would succeed in breaking through to eternity and return to the immortality Great Tao. If that happened, the Lord of Curses' entire plan would fail. Lin Moyu's cultivation speed was abnormal. Whether he advanced quickly or slowly, the Lord of Curses couldn't predict. Lin Moyu might stagnate for millions of years like other great Tao lords, or he might break through to eternity in a very short time. The Lord of Curses was too cautious, probing several times but never daring to truly strike. So this time, Lin Moyu pretended to knock on the gate of eternity, to trick the Lord of Curses. "I'm about to achieve the Tao. If you don't act now, it will be too late." Clearly, his plan worked, drawing the Lord of Curses' attention. Lin Moyu calculated in his heart, "No matter how prepared you are, you'll have to make a move now. If you won't act, I'll force you to act." After leaving Jadao Mountain, Lin Moyu headed toward Chengdao Cliff, flying slowly, stopping and starting along the way, as if admiring the scenery. His aura was gradually calming, as if he hadn't yet recovered from his attempt at the Gate of Eternity. As his aura settled, a white light appeared on his body, and his injuries from before slowly healed. Lin Moyu's appearance suggested he was going to Chengdao Cliff to comprehend the path of the Lord of Slaughter's enlightenment, to gain more insight and prepare for his next attempt at the Gate of Eternity. Judging by his demeanor, the next attempt wouldn't be far off, maybe a year or two, or even next month. The formation at Jadao Valley was still there, ready to be used again at any time. A few days later, Chengdao Cliff appeared in his view. At that moment, a filth tide descended. Filth filled the sky, blocking out the sun and obscuring vision. Filth tides were common in this area, occurring regularly, and were nothing unusual. But this time, Lin Moyu sensed something off. "So, you finally made a move." His mind was clear, but on the surface he acted oblivious, continuing to walk through the filth tide. The tide grew stronger, converging on Lin Moyu. Only then did he seem to notice the anomaly. "Who's there?" With a low shout, a massive force swept out, dispersing the filth tide. In an instant, a red light flared, filling his vision. The crimson light was nauseating, drilling into the soul. Anyone below the Great Tao realm would have their cultivation damaged just by smelling it. Weaker cultivators might die on the spot. At the Lord of Curses level, just releasing his aura could shatter the world. Lin Moyu keenly sensed that within the red light, besides the Lord of Curses' own power, there was also a faint aura of Tao wild beasts. It seems that last time he entered the core of the great wilderness, he didn't come away empty-handed. Who knows what he's hiding, better be careful. Lin Moyu never underestimated any opponent, especially not the Lord of Curses. Red light enveloped everything. Lin Moyu, unwilling to sit and wait, acted with a thought and struck out with a palm. Great Tao world-ending palm. The palm print swept across the world, shattering the red light. Countless undead servants surged forward, following the palm print and unleashing their full power to clear a path for Lin Moyu. The sword Tao spirit appeared on Lin Moyu's shoulder, unleashing the sword Great Tao, transforming into a sharp sword to cut a path. Lin Moyu attacked decisively, wasting no time. First break out, then talk. The red light was shattered, revealing the true body behind it, a sea of crimson blood. The blood sea boiled, surging in waves to block Lin Moyu's escape. The world-ending palm was scattered by the waves, the undead servants thrown apart, but the sword Tao spirit, with a piercing sword cry, sliced through the waves, opening a path through the blood sea. Lin Moyu snorted coldly. The space Tao spirit, true fire Tao spirit, and scarlet blood Tao spirit appeared. The scarlet blood Tao spirit also raised a giant wave, carrying corrosive curse power to sweep at the blood sea. The scarlet blood Tao spirit's crimson tide and the blood sea looked almost identical, seemingly from the same source. Lin Moyu knew they truly were related. The Lord of Curses' origins were complex, even the other eternal lords didn't know the whole story, and Lin Moyu only knew a little. He was indeed connected to the scarlet blood Great Tao. The two forces collided, the scarlet blood Tao spirit shrieking as it clashed with the blood waves, holding its ground. The true fire Tao spirit spewed flames, igniting the world around them. The true fire set the blood sea ablaze, and a muffled groan came from within. The true fire burned true spirits, since the blood sea was part of the Lord of Curses, burning it with true fire caused him harm. The blood sea shrank back under the flames. The space Tao spirit waved its tiny hand. Space shatter. The space ahead shattered, taking the blood sea with it. The space Tao spirit used the most direct method to force open a path. Space shift. The space Tao spirit opened a passage, instantly transporting Lin Moyu a great distance. Farther away, the blood sea boiled, its immense power twisting space and forcibly dragging Lin Moyu back to reality. But by now, the blood sea's encirclement was half broken. Great Tao world-ending palm. Lin Moyu struck again, unleashing hundreds of palms in an instant. Without increasing his cultivation, he used his full current strength, and the world-ending palm was already stronger than most Great Tao lords could muster. Hundreds of world-ending palms blasted open the way ahead. The space Great Tao acted at the same time, and the sword Tao spirit was instantly teleported back from afar. Countless undead servants were summoned, all using the metal Great Tao to empower the sword Tao spirit. The sword Tao spirit transformed into a golden sword, infused with the metal Great Tao, incomparably sharp, and slashed at the blood sea. Finally, the blood sea was breached, and Lin Moyu shot out in a stream of light. 4098. 4098. Chapter 4098. The Origin of the Lord of Curses. A furious roar came from the blood sea. Since the Lord of Curses had already made his move, there was no way he'd give up now. The boiling blood sea chased after Lin Moyu, and although it was enormous, its speed was astonishing, faster than Lin Moyu, and the distance between them rapidly closed. There was a hint of panic in Lin Moyu's eyes, his expression grave. Whether intentional or not, he headed straight for Chengdao Cliff, not far away. You can't escape. The Lord of Curses' voice echoed through the world, like thunder across the outer battlefield. Inside the Tao Lord Hall, many great Tao Lords looked up simultaneously. They vaguely saw a boiling blood sea and then heard the Lord of Curses' voice. Everyone felt a heavy pressure on their souls, a sense of discomfort. It's an eternal. Who is he chasing? What a commotion. Should we go take a look? The great Tao Lords discussed, but none moved. If it really was an eternal fighting, being a bystander could get you killed. They all cherished their lives and wouldn't act rashly. The Lord of Formations drew a divine rune, and a formation appeared with a roar. I have surveillance arrays set up on the outer battlefield. One after another, his formations activated, showing various scenes, finally locking onto one. Chengdao Cliff, with blood sea filling the sky outside, and a stream of light flying into the cliff and vanishing. The blood sea followed and nearly engulfed the entire cliff. Blood sea. Eternal. Could it be the legendary Lord of Curses? Someone connected the blood sea to the Lord of Curses, whose reputation was legendary in some tales. This caused an uproar. The Lord of Curses has made a move. Who is he after? More importantly, who is worthy of the Lord of Curses' action? Eternals don't act lightly. But the one who fled into Chengdao Cliff looked like a great Dao Lord. Everyone was stunned. An Eternal attacking a great Dao Lord should be an easy kill. Why was he running? Why hadn't he been caught yet? They all stared at Chengdao Cliff, eager to know what was happening inside, but none dared enter. The Lord of Formations, eyes flashed. He'd realized something. The formations he'd set up in Chengdao Cliff were given by Lin Moyu, and he'd learned much from arranging them. He could tell those arrays were just part of a larger, powerful formation. The core had not been given to him. He could also sense that the formation was extremely strong. Watching the projected image, a thought struck him. This formation was meant to deal with the Lord of Curses. It wasn't the Lord of Curses hunting Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu setting a trap for the Lord of Curses. The idea of a great Dao Lord scheming against an Eternal seemed impossible, but if the formation was strong enough. The Lord of Formations shivered, a chill running through his soul. It didn't seem impossible. At the edge of the battlefield, Saint Heart quietly said before a formation, "Grandfather, let me go." The War Emperor's projection appeared. "No, that's between the Lord of Curses and Lin Moyu. Don't interfere." Saint Heart was anxious. "I want to help him. Please, open the way." The War Emperor was firm. "You wouldn't help, you'd only hinder him. Think about it. Everything he's done is carefully planned. Between him and the Lord of Curses, it's not clear who will win." He recalled how, when Lin Moyu had faced the Lord of Curses before, he'd been calm and confident, not flustered at all. In his perception, Lin Moyu was even more unfathomable than the Lord of Curses. Saint Heart protested, "But he's facing an Eternal." The War Emperor replied, "Trust him. That's what he wanted me to tell you." He projected an image of Lin Moyu's last words to him before leaving the formation. "War Emperor, if anything happens, don't let Saint Heart come out." Lin Moyu's voice was clear. The War Emperor said, "There are things he can't say, but you should understand. Just wait here for him to return." Saint Heart was still anxious, but she knew deep down that she couldn't really help Lin Moyu. Chengdao Cliff was now completely enveloped by the Blood Sea, even denser than before. The Lord of Curses' giant face emerged from the Blood Sea, his eyes overlooking the entire cliff. "You have nowhere left to run." Lin Moyu stood atop the cliff, meeting the Lord of Curses' gaze. At the dawn of heaven and earth, when the Origin Land first formed, 8 great Daos competed for a place in the Origin Land. At that time, there was a Blood Sea in the world, evolved from the first drop of blood at the birth of the world. The Blood Sea also contained the first impurities of the primordial Tao. You gained sentience from the Blood Sea, then comprehended the Tao of Curses, becoming its master, and then an Eternal. This Blood Sea is your true body, your greatest reliance. As long as it exists, you cannot die. The Blood Sea is vast, able to cover hundreds of worlds, and can cross the boundary between reality and illusion. That's why you're fearless, acting as you please, leaving filth wherever you go. For countless years, you've left legends in many worlds, causing endless death and destruction, harvesting immense faith power. Until you tried to take the final step and entered the core of the great wilderness, only to be repelled by the Beast Emperor and forced to retreat, tainted by the curse. Later, you hid in the Black Blood realm, using the principal Tao to create clones, transferring the curse onto the Black Blood people, then having them clone the Black Blood realm, using worlds to bear the curse. For countless years, you finally cleansed your curse. In the process, you searched for a way to break the deadlock, tried many methods, ruined many geniuses, and finally discovered me. You knew I was the reincarnation of the Lord of Immortality, that my body and Tao were unique. So you wanted to use my body and Tao to re-enter the core of the great wilderness and help you take the final step again. Lin Moyu recounted the Lord of Curses' life as if telling a story. The Lord of Curses said coldly, "I didn't expect you to know so much. Where did you learn this?" "The River of Time. My methods are invisible even to the Lord of Time." Lin Moyu didn't hide it. "The River of Time records your past. You were too confident, rarely erasing your traces, only hiding them a bit. You could fool the Lord of Time, but not the Spirit of Time. The Spirit of Time remembers everything you've done. Even if your information is gone from the River of Time, it still exists in the Spirit's memory." Lin Moyu had spoken with the Spirit of Time for a long time, learning the Lord of Curses' true origin. The Spirit of Time has memory. Even if the River of Time is wiped clean, its memory remains. There are only so many Eternals in the world. The Spirit of Time naturally pays close attention to their actions and remembers them all. Before talking to the Spirit of Time, Lin Moyu had also spoken with the Lord of Fate, learning much about the Lord of Curses from him as well. Combining both sources, he had a clear picture. The Lord of Curses said coldly, "So what if you know all this?" 4099. Chapter 4099, Tracing Cause from Effect. So what if you know all this? For others, it was just knowing a story, but for Lin Moyu, it was different. Lin Moyu didn't answer, but instead loudly asked, "Back then, for the sake of faith power, you brought disaster to over 1,000 worlds, spread terror, cast curses, and made all living beings fear you. Do you think you were right in doing this?" The Lord of Curses sneered, "Are you joking? How do you think you became a great Tao Lord? Your hands are no less stained with blood than mine. I need faith power, but I don't want to manage it, that's too troublesome. I prefer the direct approach. As for those weak beings, why should I care about their feelings?" Lin Moyu continued, "The faith power you gained wasn't true faith power, but the fear those beings had for you. That kind of faith power is filled with hatred. Does it feel good to use?" The Lord of Curses was even more dismissive. "A little hatred means nothing. Besides, that was ages ago. Those worlds are dead or destroyed. What's your point? Are you trying to be a good guy and avenge them?" The worlds from which the Lord of Curses drew faith power all ended badly. Curses spread, disasters raged, and they either perished or struggled on the brink of extinction. Curses are inheritable, passed down through generations. As long as the Lord of Curses lives, the curses won't disappear. There were over 1,000 such worlds, with countless living beings. Lin Moyu said, "I'm not here to avenge them. But those beings, they will seek revenge on you." The Lord of Curses laughed madly, "Are you insane? They've been dead for countless years. Even if they wanted revenge, could they? Soon, you'll be one of them. Why do you think I let you talk so much? All this time, I've been surrounding Chengdao Cliff with my blood sea. You're finished." By now, Chengdao Cliff was completely enveloped by the blood sea, the encirclement far stronger than before. In the Lord of Curses' eyes, Lin Moyu had no chance of breaking out. That's why he'd let Lin Moyu talk. His body was so massive, it took time to move. Lin Moyu was unhurried. "You're stalling for time, so am I." He stomped lightly, and instantly Chengdao Cliff rumbled as a blinding light erupted from underground. A massive formation appeared. The formation was vast, stretching from 10,000 miles away up to the heavens, like a giant net wrapping around the blood sea. The Lord of Curses had surrounded Lin Moyu, but Lin Moyu had counter-surrounded him with the formation. As the formation activated, countless great Daos appeared, pouring power into the array. The Lord of Curses' voice turned icy, "You set me up." Lin Moyu replied, "You're an eternal. Dealing with you is troublesome, so I had to prepare. You were stalling, so was I. The only issue is this formation takes a while to activate." The Lord of Curses retorted, "You think a formation alone can stop me?" Lin Moyu said, "Of course not. This is just step 1. He took out the Seeking Cause Ring. The Seeking Cause Ring could trace cause and effect, but that wasn't its only function. It had many abilities, one of which Lin Moyu had never used because the backlash was too great, far beyond simply tracing cause and effect. "Trace cause from effect," Lin Moyu shouted. The Seeking Cause Ring erupted with blinding light, shooting into the heart of the blood sea. He poured nearly all his soul power into it, along with the words the Lord of Curses had just spoken, infusing it with immense karmic power and sending it into the blood sea. The Lord of Curses said coldly, "What kind of treasure is that?" He could tell at a glance that the Seeking Cause Ring was extraordinary. Its level was beyond anything he'd seen. Lin Moyu sneered, "A treasure that can deal with you." As soon as he finished speaking, there was a bang. Lin Moyu's body was shattered on the spot. The Lord of Curses was stunned. He hadn't even made a move. How did Lin Moyu self-destruct? But he immediately realized Lin Moyu was suffering backlash from the treasure. For a great Tao Lord to be shattered by backlash, the treasure's power must be far beyond imagination. Amidst the purple light, Lin Moyu was reborn, and the Seeking Cause Ring's true effect began. Tracing cause from effect. The effect was the Lord of Curses as he was now, alive and well, revived after dormancy, unscathed. Everything he'd done seemed to have gone unpunished, defying the rules of heaven and earth. Why? Because he was strong enough to bear the karma he created. But now, the Seeking Cause Ring drew out all that karma, magnified and unleashed it all at once. The countless deeds of the Lord of Curses over the ages, all that karma erupted in this moment as a terrifying force. The blood sea boiled, and the faith power he'd gained, tainted with hatred, turned into attacks rampaging through the sea. The Lord of Curses screamed, "What have you done? Why is this happening? The blood sea exploded again and again, waves of blood vaporizing. Massive karmic power surged within, turning into black energy that destroyed and corroded the blood sea. Lin Moyu sneered, the causes of the past, the effects of today. Even as an eternal, you can't escape. An eternal who never severed his karma with ordinary beings, or rather, who disdained to do so, would pay the price. The Lord of Curse's arrogance blinded him to the fact that, while many worlds had been destroyed, many beings survived, generation after generation, living in fear and disaster, their hatred accumulating ever deeper. That hatred became fear, then faith power, which the Lord of Curses absorbed along with endless hatred. Now, that hatred was unleashed. Through the seeking cause ring, Lin Moyu turned that hatred into karmic power, attacking the Lord of Curses. This was karmic retribution. As the karmic attack struck, the formation was fully activated. In an instant, the formation erupted with boundless great Tao power, detonating within the blood sea. When the blood sea surrounded Chengdao Cliff, it also enveloped the formations, so when the formations activated, it was as if they exploded inside the blood sea, their power immense. The Lord of Curses screamed even more miserably, suffering unimaginable damage. If he weren't an eternal, if his true body weren't such a vast blood sea, he might have already been forced into dormancy. He realized he'd fallen into Lin Moyu's trap and instinctively tried to flee. But he found he couldn't escape, he couldn't open the gate of origin, nor break free from the formation's net. Other Eternals are helping you. The Lord of Curses shrieked. Only other Eternals could block his return. Lin Moyu said nothing more. With a wave, the statue warriors left behind by the divine civilization charged into the blood sea, wreaking havoc. At the same time, countless undead servants swarmed in, destroying everything in their path. Lin Moyu's fingers flashed, drawing a torrent of divine runes. He shouted, "Open!" The formation entered its second phase, its power soaring, grinding huge swaths of blood sea to pieces. Lin Moyu poured vast amounts of death power into the array, which amplified it, corroding the blood sea. 4100. 4100. Chapter 4100. Battle against the Lord of Curses. Although it seemed Lin Moyu had done a lot, in reality less than 10 seconds had passed. Within those 10 seconds, the Lord of Curses endured an unimaginable barrage of attacks, and only then did he react with a furious counterattack. The blood sea boiled and transformed into a giant hand, slapping toward Lin Moyu. The sword Dao spirit transformed into a giant sword to shield Lin Moyu, while the space Dao spirit tore open space to swallow the attack. The sword Dao spirit was sent flying by the blood hand, but the force was greatly reduced and then swallowed by the space rift created by the space Dao spirit, so Lin Moyu was unharmed. Lin Moyu took out a square jade and activated the formation within. Light from the array enveloped the area, and the human emperor emerged from the glow. As soon as the human emperor appeared, he launched an attack on the Lord of Curses without a word. Wielding the great Tao of destruction, he charged into the blood sea. The destruction Tao churned the blood sea, and the previous karma formation had already thrown the blood sea into chaos, leaving the Lord of Curses far from his peak. The Lord of Curses, having been schemed against by Lin Moyu and now targeted by the human emperor, vented all his fury on the human emperor. "Human emperor, you dare stand against me? I'll kill you!" The Lord of Curses roared, unleashing endless cursed power in countless attacks toward the human emperor. A fierce battle broke out between the human emperor and the Lord of Curses within the blood sea, while Lin Moyu's formation continued to ravage the blood sea. Killing the Lord of Curses was no easy feat. His true body was the blood sea, and unless it was completely destroyed, he could not be killed. He was not like the Beast Emperor, and this was not the same Lord of Curses from the past. Back when he entered the Great Wilderness, he went all in, bringing his true body. But now, dealing with Lin Moyu, the Lord of Curses might not have brought his entire true body. Perhaps, somewhere in the world, other portions of the blood sea were still hidden. Even the God of Light had backup plans. How could the cunning Lord of Curses not? Lin Moyu activated the Seeking Cause ring again. Seek cause, ask effect. He used the ring to search for the Lord of Curses' hidden blood seas. With a bang, his body was once again shattered by the ring's backlash, but Lin Moyu didn't care. He could always be reborn. After the backlash, the ring's power manifested, shooting dozens of beams of light into different regions, tearing open portals to various scenes, some in the real world, some in the virtual world, and some hidden in the core of certain worlds. In every place, there was a blood sea, 39 in total. Others have 3 hiding places, you have 39. You really know how to hide. The Lord of Curses had left 39 avatars in secret corners. As long as one remained, even if forced into dormancy, he could recover quickly. Only by destroying all of them would his recovery be much slower, though even then he could not be truly killed unless the cursed Tao in the origin land was destroyed. The Lord of Curses would always be able to return. Lin Moyu used a karma crystal to contact An Yuyan, who was already outside Chengdao Cliff. At his call, she rushed in. Lin Moyu pointed to 5 Blood Sea avatars hidden inside worlds. You handle these 5, don't harm the worlds. If he destroyed them himself, the worlds would be shattered, and he didn't want to bear that karma. As the Lord of Cause and Effect, An Yuyan could erase the Blood Seas without harming the worlds. An Yuyan understood and carefully used karmic power to erase the Blood Seas. With her mastery, she set the outcome that the Blood Seas would be erased, then triggered it with karmic power, quickly dissolving the Blood Seas while protecting the worlds. Lin Moyu, on the other hand, was much more direct. His aura surged, breaking through the Tao Lord realm to half-step transcendence. Great Tao World-Ending Palm. A true world-ending palm, imbued with destructive power, blasted through the portals created by the Seeking Cause Ring, targeting the Blood Seas. The Lord of Curses avatars were shattered by the palm. If one wasn't enough, he struck again and again until the ring closed the portals. His body shattered and was reborn in purple light, and Lin Moyu repeatedly used the world-ending palm to utterly destroy the Lord of Curses avatars. Sensing his avatars being destroyed, the Lord of Curses grew frantic and furious, roaring as he battled the human emperor. I'll kill you. Creating these avatars was no easy task. They were like inheritances, requiring many conditions to create. He had only made 39 over countless years, and now Lin Moyu was destroying them all. In his rage, the Lord of Curses manifested a phantom part human, part beast, covered in filth and curses like a Tao wild beast. With a roar, he repelled the human emperor and charged at Lin Moyu and An Yuyan. An Yuyan's expression changed, but Lin Moyu said, "Don't worry, he can't get through." As he spoke, a sharp sword flew in and stopped in front of Lin Moyu. The Sword Emperor appeared beside the sword, unleashing endless sword energy. The Lord of Curses was struck, shattered with a scream, and turned into a rain of blood. The Blood Sea reformed into the Lord of Curses image. He roared, "Spirit Demon Emperor, why are you interfering?" The Sword Emperor snorted, "This is my business, none of yours." The Lord of Curses glared at Lin Moyu, "I underestimated you. But do you think this is enough to kill me? Dream on." Heaven and Earth Death Curse. The world shook as terrifying power descended. The cursed Tao appeared, shining brilliantly, and a foul stench swept forth. The power of the cursed Tao formed the character, Death, pressing down on Lin Moyu. An Yuyan's face changed. "He's invoking Tao origin to cast a death curse on you." She was anxious under the death curse, only an eternal could survive. Even though Lin Moyu could resurrect, the curse would not disappear and would follow him through each revival. With the death curse, Lin Moyu would die, his body destroyed. The Lord of Curses was desperate, ready to abandon Lin Moyu's body. "Don't worry." Lin Moyu summoned the reverse Tao spirit, which waved its tiny hand at the death character. The character immediately flew back in reverse. The reverse Tao spirit could reverse actions and many attacks. But even for it, resisting the cursed Tao was difficult. It could only withstand one blow. The Lord of Curses was stunned. He couldn't understand why his curse was sent back. The reverse Tao was so rare that even the Lord of Curses had never seen it, and he had no time to ponder. Die. With a roar, the human emperor charged in, unleashing the destruction Tao against the Lord of Curses. The human emperor went all out, shattering much of the Blood Sea. The Sword Emperor joined in, unleashing a storm of swords that tore apart the Blood Sea. An Yuyan continued erasing the Lord of Curses avatars, while Lin Moyu relentlessly destroyed the rest.